The Thinking Tackle Podcast.
She backs me up, bless him.
Second time lucky.
Thomas would get that big red marker and put that through my name, wouldn't he? You know what he's like. I'm joking. He's a good old boy. So I'll probably have to face him on the committee when I come up for an interview. I've
not heard people get turned away from Harrow, though, have you?
No, I think they're pretty light-hearted, aren't they?
It's a little bit
sort
different.
Of a nice club, aren't they?
Well, the same kind of structure to it. A little bit old-fashioned, traditional, which is great, isn't it? But, you know, it's, they're a little bit less... I don't know, strict or kind of set in their ways, you know.
Yeah, it's
I don't think they're doing it to sort of turn people away. They want people to join, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like supporting a club, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
Clubs survive on those very small fees.
Yes.
And they need plenty of members. And at the end of the day, if you've proposed me, you've put your ticket on the line, so you wouldn't be there at the interview.
Ban now?
I think you can't mention it, can you?
Right. Okay.
That's always been the most open one out of the three, isn't it?
Yeah, because it went from being. I mean, we've talked about it on the show quite a lot.
Yeah.
But it went from being no publicity water, Hertfordshire water,
club
water.
Hertz club water, isn't it?
Everyone knew what lake it was.
Big old gnarly mirrors. To
knowing more about it nowadays.
Yeah, it's it. Too right. It's carp fishing history, isn't it? It's like.
Said to Lee Jackson, one of the best.
Known,
I think the best looking carp lake I've ever seen.
It is amazing, isn't it? It's
it looks gorgeous.
It's like it's been painted in front of you, isn't it? All the rolling hills of the valley, big weeping willows, shallow, proper gnarly gravel pit. It's like, this is proper carp fishing.
Proper
This
lake.
is what I've read about
lake.
in all my youth at school, you know, like dreaming.
Well, Malin's books and stuff like that. And you create like visions of, I mean, you see the pictures in the books, but you don't really feel it until you actually walk around there, do you? And that lake is, when you saw it, it's like, this place. You want to go there on a flat, calm summer's day, and it's like,
that's it, yeah, proper calm,
stately
carp,
looking,
yeah, that's it. Live and brave it. And when you finally seen it, you can relate to the books, can't you? It's a bit like when I read all the Raisbury stories, like Laney and that. Until I walked round there, you can go, that's the Route Nightmare and the Rocky Barge. You can relate to where he's telling the story, then, isn't it? It's always paints the picture better, doesn't it?
History, mate.
Proper, that's what we like.
It could be Lords or St Andrews or anywhere. They're all they've all got their history.
They have,
mate.
And,
anyway, we're live. Ian Bailey, welcome to the podcast. You finally got on the show.
I'm here, mate. I feel very privileged that you've welcomed me on, mate. So,
well, we've had a few goes at it, haven't we? We had the Corona stuff, didn't we? And
we did, yeah.
And you thought that we weren't ever going to do this.
Well, I'm very much a Z-list celebrity in this A-list world, mate.
Oh, don't be silly. You're too modest, you are.
Oh, cheers, Tobes. At least there's some love from you there, mate. You're a darling.
It's relevance, mate. People want to listen to good carp fishing stories.
Yeah.
And having a good variety of people on the show is so important.
Without a doubt. I've been a fan of the show since you've done it. We spoke about it, and I like tuning in, especially when I'm on the road doing me rounds in East Anglia. It sort of passes the time rather than some music on in the background. So,
it's been good. I mean, what are we on? 31 now, Tobe? Is it 31 shows?
We've done, I think it's 31, 28 published.
Yeah. It's gone really fast, mate.
It has, hasn't it?
It's gone rapid, really, hasn't it? We've had our first year now, haven't we?
First year, yeah. The numbers are really amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
We didn't know. We just did not have a clue.
It's a brand new thing, wasn't it, really? Like, there's other ones going on, isn't there? A few guys doing it, but...
all a bit different.
Yeah, everyone's got their sort of brand and touch on it, isn't it? How, especially like the filming, you get to see the pictures and that on YouTube. It's... your twist on it, mate, isn't it? So,
it's our twist on it. I don't think you actually you don't go out of your way to look a certain way. It just comes out the way probably the two of us are a little bit, you know, and just Toby doesn't go fishing.
Oh, what are you on about? I tie rigs back here all the time.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. That's what he says.
I've seen him with a few carp, mate.
You have actually, haven't you?
Yeah, he's a boy on the quiet, mate. He's no publicity, you see. So
that's it, yeah.
Is that what it is?
My album.
All this time he pretends he doesn't know the difference between a mirror carp and a common carp, and he's like...
he's too underground, mate. He's going to come out one day.
He'll be there soon.
Yeah, he will be, yeah.
So, did you say that... Bailey was the first person you met at Korda?
He was, yeah. Bailey was the first time I come to Korda. I can't remember how old I was. But mate, I was marched through the doors at the old place, and my old man went, right, you sit there. Ian's going to look after you. And that was it, mate. From there onwards, he did look after me.
The rest is history, mate.
He trusted you, did he?
Yeah.
Demo?
Yeah, safe hands. I think you made a nice cup of tea, mate, didn't you?
I did make a nice cup of tea.
Still does, actually.
He gets involved. We just had one now, didn't we? It's still as good as it was all those years ago. I think you was
I'll take that.
Was you just out of school, Tobes? Was it?
I can't remember, honestly. It was... he had me packing next year. I think it was red strippers. Am I right?
Yeah,
the red strippers.
Yeah. Well,
tools, stripper tools. Come and say. Come on, mate.
Sorry, is your mind elsewhere, mate?
Well, we diversify a little bit potentially, don't we?
I think you might, Si.
Yeah.
Sad about it, mate. But no, it's
We've known each other ever since, haven't we?
Yeah, it's it. And we're doing this, mate. So yeah, it's really exciting stuff.
Integral to the show. Toby is.
Yeah, he's a boy.
Yeah, like I say,
man on the buttons.
It's yeah. There's a lot more to it than that, mate. That's what we try and tell everyone, Toby.
That's it.
If we want a pay rise, anyway.
That keeps me in a job, that.
Yeah, especially your father, mate.
Yeah,
you got to keep him happy.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty happy. Everyone's happy, I think, aren't they?
I think everybody's enjoying it.
It's gone fast a year.
It has, especially what's been going on as well, mate. And it's time flies when you're having fun, mate. So it's obviously enjoying what you're doing, isn't it? And
well, you said the year as well, because you're a Korda rep. So
I am indeed, yeah. Covering East Anglia.
How's it looked this year?
It's been fantastic, really. Obviously, with what's gone on in the world, fishing's been one of those pastimes that everyone can get involved in, isn't it? And the shops have been really busy, good vibes, buzzing, lots of new people getting into it or coming back into it. And it's been a joy, really. Big pats on the back, sort of providing the gear on time because it's been so busy, keeping the shelves stocked up for the shops and keeping their customers happy and in tackle to go fishing.
Do you think that's reflective of the whole type of all fishing shops in general? Everyone's doing okay at the moment?
Yeah, everyone's been really positive, mate. Like when it started, the lockdown, it's like, oh my God. Like,
it's the end of the world, mate.
Everyone's the same, weren't they?
Well, it still is for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's still really bad, crikey, God forbid. But it was touchy times. I thought, oh dear, like, where's this going? And sort of I was living with my girlfriend's mum and dad at the time. Sophie's mum and dad, they owned a tackle shop and we lived above it till we moved out, and still sort of providing bits on eBay, and I was helping sort of pack each day because I was furloughed, and we were sort of just helping pot around the house do that, and I was just doing a few bits, and it was phenomenal. They were sending out great big Royal Mail sacks every day to people around the country wanting tackle, because they were time rigs getting prepared to get out again, and once we got the green light, it just went chaotic. It was mental.
I mean, you've never seen anything like it.
No. It's
the old scenes at Farlow's and that, on the first, with people queuing a mile down the road and stuff to get in there. It was like everyone had been let out after 10 years.
That's it, chomping at the bit.
But it
was like a traditional close season that everyone's sort of forgotten about or never experienced in their age. It sort of gave everyone time to sort of sort their kit out and get going, and they, topping up their gear and keeping us all busy. So it's been.
Has
really
it got back to normal now, or is it still?
I think the back to normal is busy for this time of year. Sort of normally around now, it's quietening down. People come back from their family holidays. Christmas is looming. Sort of getting money put aside for presents and that, or paying off the holiday. And the evening's drawing, don't they? So people can't get in after work, and it's only the real hard and silly few like ourselves that are still out and about. But the shops are still busy, mate. It's really good to see. And I've been busy, mate. I'm flat out.
Because I guess not all of your shops had online facilities at the time either, so you couldn't shop online with a lot of those shops. So the ones that could, obviously, the big ones that could do that were doing well. But you found that the shops now that don't do shop online stuff have been able to recover as well then.
Yeah, they the feedback they're giving me, not the nitty gritty details of their business, but what they tell me is all positive and sort of record years and months, etc. and stuff like that.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good to see. At the end of the day, my accounts in East Anglia, I've dealt with them for over 9 years, and they're like friends to me. I built some really good relationships, like you do, don't you? It's a friendship, isn't it? Thing with my job, I'm not selling them one off and never seen them again, like sending them a car. I've got to see them every month. So you're always going to be loyal, honest, and look after them, because it's a long-term relationship. So you build really, really strong friendships. And
I think that's part of being a salesperson, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Just be yourself, and people
be yourself.
Like you. Yeah. People buy from people, don't they? And if you just be who you are, I can't please everyone. I'm sure there's a couple that go, oh, not him again. But
do you remember that story I told you the other week, Tope?
What one was that?
The chemical guy.
Oh, no, you've got to tell that. That's a great story.
Yeah. When I used to work for my dad, I used to be the buyer for the company.
Right.
And we used to get this guy come in every month, Dave, his name was, selling chemicals, right? So, He had to be quite creative with what he was selling. But the happiest go lucky guy you've ever met in your life. He would come into us, 55 quid order every month, hang around and talk to you for an hour, 2 hours, and only get a 55 quid order off of you. Right. But he was happy. And then I built up a bit of it because I like him. So if I saw somebody come in that I didn't like and just thought you're just too, they wouldn't get through the door. But this guy, I loved him. Anyway, I don't know if you remember 2000 Foot and Mouth.
Yes.
Happened. One of the managers came into me one day and said, we had a contract on Salisbury Plain. And he said, we need 50,000 gallons. It was some crazy number of disinfectant. He said, do you know anybody that can get that much disinfectant? And I said, yeah, I do actually.
Straight away, yeah.
And I rang up Dave, and he never had an order over. No. He'd never had an order over a couple of £100 off of us. Yeah. Rang him up, said, Dave, Simon. He went, all right, Simon, I'll just pull over a minute, just not expecting, anything. Yeah. I said, Dave, I need 50,000 gallons of disinfectant. He went, 50 litres, no worries, it'll be with you tomorrow. No, Dave, 50,000. He would have crashed if he was driving.
Oh, he would have done, yeah.
He won Salesman of the Year.
I bet he did.
His bonus, he went on holiday as a bonus. And while he was away on holiday, we needed another order of the same sort of size. So when he got back, he had another order that size. It changed his flipping life.
But he would have done because he always made that effort to come and see you.
Always made it.
You got on with him really well. And where did you go to straight away, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Back to your man. Exactly. That's how you got to do it. What I find is if as soon as you lose contact with an account, that's when you've lost it. You've got to keep that regular visit contact. It's a bit like your man. And you do that and they always know where you are, So, yeah, it's about the relationship side. And, I thoroughly believe in it. And I learnt from Harris and Garthy because they took me out, introducing me to the shops. They gave me some basic ground rules.
Was that a good example?
Well, Harris is to blame for me being here, mate. He was my rep at the time when I was in a tackle shop. So.
Right.
But yeah, they gave me a bit of like, right, this is it, boy. And I was young at the time, I was in sort of mid-late 20s. And... but I don't think people could take me serious. It's like, who's this young lad coming round with his bag and his pen and paper, take your orders. But I've been doing it a while now.
So you worked at a fishing tackle shop before you started at Korda?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I've been in the trade, sort of over 15 years now. I was a manager in a tackle shop in the village, in the town I lived in. And Harris was my rep, And again, Harris used to come in, it's kettle on, Harris is here. It's like, brilliant. Yeah, do an order because... There's nothing you can't love about Harris, can you? He's a top man, legend, isn't he?
I wish he would sit in that chair and relive some of his stories. We've heard them today, actually.
Oh, he's brilliant.
He won't do it, will he?
No.
We've asked him many times.
But he is the epitome of what you need to be a good salesman.
Exactly. He's a master of it. Naturally
charismatic.
Gifted. Yeah. And, so he's my rep. And one day, I remember I see it I think it was in Carp Talk, the telesales job. I thought, I'd never get that. You've got to have all qualifications and stuff. And I said to Harris, oh, is that job still going? Do you reckon I could get it? He went, yeah. I'm like, of course, good. Let me just ring the office. Just rung. Johnny Mann had just got it. Just missed out. That day, he'd come for the interview from Colchester and he got it. I was like, fair play. He goes, if anything comes up, I'll let you know, Bailey. I went, yeah, cheers, mate. You think, yeah. People always say that, don't they? Yeah, I'll let you know, mate. I'll let you know. We've all done it, haven't we? Sort of keep the peace. And a few months down the line, nothing. I don't think I'd seen him. I think because he had the whole of the UK at one, but the south of the UK, etc. He's here, there, and everywhere. Phone rings. Good afternoon, Epic Fish Tackle. Oh, Ian, it's Harris. Oh, hello, mate. You all right? Do you still want a job? I was like, yeah. Right, get down the yard tomorrow, 8:30 for an interview. Oh, all right. Yeah, okay, mate. Put the phone down. I'm like, I'm sweating bullets.
It work.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like one of them. I was like, I've got an interview at Korda, And I remember I blagged it with my manager. I said, I've got doctors or something like that. I can't remember. I blagged him right up. I had to, like, I'm going for an interview at another job and in the trade. So I got my dad to take me. It was only to Romford. I lived in Epping, so it's like round the back roads. It was like 20 minutes, nice little country ride. Dad said, I'll take you. I thought I might be nervous and take the wrong turn. I didn't have a sat nav at the time, but Dad knew where it was, like Raspberry's Chase. He knew everywhere, you know. So we got there, he dropped me off, and I walked up, and I was like, am I at Korda? I'm walking up this track, and on the left is like these old barns. And
I remember that place.
Yeah, you remember.
Mate.
I thought it was going to be something like this, like some like labs and stuff, you know, where they're testing tackle. Nah. There's lads out front having a fag. Like, all right. I said, I'm here for an interview. Like, yeah, just go down there. And I walk down, and there's like containers and a bit of a gravel. And I can't remember who it was. One of the lads from the lead unit took me, and it was Spoons. Spoons said, hello, because I met Spoons before, bless him, actually. I forgot to in the story. He'd come to see us when he first became the UK sales manager. I sort of dropped in. Because at the time, we was the fastest growing account in the UK. We'd done like 10 grand that year. It was unheard
Sorry,
of.
what shop was it again?
Epping Fishing Tackle.
Oh, right.
And we was like, it's one of the quickest growing. It was like, so you come and see us. Had a cup of tea, and again, naturally clicked with Spoons, you know what I mean? Like, just got on, you know. And he's like, hello, how you been? Chatting about fishing. He went, come then, let's go across. So Damo come in and sat me down and said, a few questions, mainly fishing. A few other, you know, what can you bring to the company? You know, all that stuff. Again, I'm selling myself, a bit like that interview I told you about. Like, I really want this. Like, I want to work for Korda. It's for a dispatch job, packing all the boxes. There's only 2 lads in it at the time. Alan and Steve Lindsall, I think it just started. And again, I've got to give Dovey a pat on the back here, loads of love. He went across, went, is that Ian all right, is he? And I'd met Dovey on the manor about 4 years before. Again, always got on with him, you know. In this world, you're always going to cross paths with people again, aren't you? So treat people how you want to be treated, you know. And he said I was all right. I said, yeah, you got the job.
That was it?
When you were starting, yeah. All these years later, I'm sat here now.
12 years later?
Yeah, 12 years later, mate, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, July, I think it's July the 2nd or something like that.
That's my birthday.
Yeah. Is it?
Mm.
Perfect then.
It's meant to be.
Lucky day, isn't
that
it?
is a
Lucky
national
day.
bank holiday now, mate.
Is it?
No. All the best things happen then. Look what we got now, you know.
Anyway, mate, do you want to present us with something nice?
The gift, yes. I thought long and hard about it.
Did you?
I spoke to Sophie about it last night, and I was going to give you the Reuben Heaton digital scales that I've weighed.
Do you know what I could do with a pair of digital scales?
You did, yeah.
As well? I haven't done a lot of fishing this year because we've been recording podcasts, but that would have been nice, actually.
But you wasted them though, Si, because you don't go, they're not going to weigh anything.
We won't go. I'd use them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, hopefully I'd catch something.
I'm sure you would.
We're meant to be going soon, aren't we? We were going to go down. We're going back to the River Wye?
Well, you know, it's only because I've mentioned to him who might be coming.
Oh,
What?
yeah, I bet you're all over it, Toad.
No, Si
Your
said he
heroes.
was going.
He's never normally got any interest in going fishing.
No.
Well, you were gonna go a few months ago, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
You actually announced it on the podcast and then didn't actually go.
Nothing
So
materialised.
Nobody remembered. So.
we might go. We will go fishing
No,
at
we
some
will.
point.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah,
Well, you
actually,
have to do
we
a
will.
podcast on it, won't you? So
Yeah, it might be a short
it's like
podcast.
Tuckle Vision, wouldn't it? Johnny Boy's out, wouldn't it?
To me,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, he will go at some point. It's
We'll
not,
get him out,
It's not
yeah.
quite in the blood the way it is for other family members.
No.
but,
Yeah. You can't.
yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
He's always going, isn't he? Bless him. So,
Yeah. Anyway,
The gift. Yeah.
The
Sorry.
gift.
So I was going to give you them, but I want to keep those. I'd have to buy another set. So I thought I'd give you a traditional flat bottom spod.
that's what we're looking at now.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is out of a mastic tube. I'll give you a little bit of history about it.
You made this yourself,
I didn't. My friend made this.
right?
My friend Martin is very talented at making things. One of those naturally gifted. But originally they were VO5 bottles.
Oh yeah.
But he took it to a Mark
Still
II
it?
with a mastic tube that he got from work. There's 2mm cork put in that, glued in the bottom. Now mine's got extra cork because my mixes are always a lot heavier than his, like the particle mixes. A lot more T23 in mine. So if it didn't have extra cork, mine would sink. Whereas with that, it's still got enough buoyancy to sort of let it dump. So he modelled, the VO5 onto that tube. But if you look at the little holes, say you missed a cast, if you dunked the tip of your rod and wound as quick as you could, you'd bring
Keep
all your
it all.
spod back. You wouldn't lost anything.
Because suction's pushing
Yeah.
it back in. Yeah.
And if you was really good at it, you'd wind it in, just swing it out and lash it back out.
How long have
again.
you kept hold of this for?
Well, that is probably, I dread to think how many green buckets that's put out, and that's been given to me by Martin. I've given it back to him at one point for him to use, while I had another one off him, and then he gave it back to me. So it's a bit like Trigger's broom. It's had extra cork in it and all sorts. But
it's nice though, isn't it? It's well made. Do you know what? If I had this, that would be hanging up a tree or floating around the lake within an hour.
Well, it's best to stay on this table, Si, isn't it? But yeah, that's a problem. We talked about tackle.
It's nice. It's nice.
It's like iconic to me, and that on an old Rocketeer spod rod with a nice big grease weasel sea leader, and you was putting that 80 yards on the haggler. You was a god.
Great
mate.
minds think alike, mate.
But
nice
real quick get out with that. But unfortunately, mate, I thought it's best off here because
when did you stop using it?
Basically, with the lakes I fish, it's all boilies only and that, and particle bands. It just sits in my box in the van, just doing nothing. So it's best off here on the table.
It will sit proudly on the table with the rest of this. Well, we've got a good array of stuff.
There is
now.
some exciting things on there, mate, and I'm glad I could add to it. But
it will sit there proudly.
Yeah, good.
So you had a pretty good year last year. You caught the biggest carp caught last year.
I did, yeah, from the mighty Grenville in Cambridge, mate. Yeah, 65-12.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty phenomenal. Something I never dreamed of, to be fair, I must admit.
How many carp in this country have been caught? We got a picture actually up on the screen now of it. How many carp in the country have been caught over that way? Different fish, do you know?
I'll be putting my neck on the line here saying if I know. I think it's like 8 or something like that.
You're in a select club there, aren't you? With
it's a bit of an elite club. I think I'm one of 3 anglers to have caught 2 different UK 60s. So sort of, I made it, mum. Do you know what I mean? So,
you made it.
Yeah.
That's called Green 124.
That's it. Yeah, Green 124. Yeah.
Where does it get that name from?
Well, Paul.
We're looking at a picture of it now, by the way, on the screen.
Yeah.
Monstrous thing, isn't it?
That's held against me, mate. That's against me, you know. That's not held out. You can see that.
You can't, can you?
No. It's your arms are gone there, and in the water it's a lot easier to do it, you know, as we know. But no, Paul, the lake owner, who's a friend of mine, he is a carp fishery genius, in my opinion. This is not blowing smoke up his arse or anything. This is fact. You know, he has created something that, in my opinion, will never ever be created again.
Why do you think that's a Grenville fishery? So you said the lake was dug in the 70s.
It's like late 70s, very flat bottom. There's a few sort of raised areas, predominantly sort of average depths of sort of 20 to 30 foot. It's a really deep lake.
Is it deep for the it's in Cambridgeshire, isn't it? So the lakes around there, are they all that sort of depth?
Yeah, sort of normally teens, but you know, sort of they kept digging and digging for that one, obviously, and it runs alongside the A1, so obviously the gravel was used for that. And, so on, but it's a floodplain actually, that area, so it's naturally sort of gifted to us as a carp lake. And you know, sort of, I'm not going to tell Paul's story because that's his story, you know, of how he come about in that's for another day. But from what I've gathered from him, it was sort of sheer passion of wanting to have his own fishery, what he visioned of sort of 5-star plus carp fishing in the UK with monstrous fish, and selected, I think it's 4 different strains that he's got in there.
What strains are they?
He's got the Pva Fisheries, which are the big ones, the greens, you know, the 123 and 124. The Parker fish. He's got his own strain as well, and there's another one in there as well. Again, I'll be sort of telling the wrong information if I said that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. He's got the Scaly. So I think that's sort of a back of his own strain mixed in. So, you know, all legitimate UK carp, mate. So real mixed bag, you know, real mixed bag. But,
and those Pvas, so they're sort of the same sort of percentages through the lake as well. Is there more of one strain than the other?
It's more of the scaly ones now, because obviously the Pvas are the older ones. But again, he's got all the records of it. It's so meticulous. It's like he can tell you when it's come out, the date, the time. You know, he's got growth rates and charts.
We've got some growth rates there, Toby.
Yeah, we've got one here, haven't we, Si? It's yeah, there you go. Look at it there. It's 12th of January 2005, £4 8 ounces. Look at it, and 40 plus, sort of.
Zoom in there.
Onwards, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got everything like that. I remember going from my interview, Si, and he goes, "Here goes a couple of folders of all these pictures, having it over a cup of coffee." I got halfway through the first one. I was like, "I don't need to see anymore. I don't need to see anymore.
Yeah, I want to just fish.
I know what's in here. You know, it's." And just that.
And these fish are just they get. Is this one getting caught regularly as well, Bailey?
About once, twice a year fish. That
is
mate.
It? Yeah.
It's see if you see 55-6 to Ralph, that was the year I got on. Start of the season, pretty much out of 10 that was, and
it's just a consistent climb that fish.
Coxie, then he had it out of 2. I remember him catching that, and that was it for that year. the date's wrong there for Bernard. It's 2019. It's just a misprint there. But when I heard that, I was like, oh my God. Like, it was expected as well, you know. It's like, when's it going to do it? But it done green 123 to my mate Ipswich Lee at 61.
Green 123.
December.
Right.
He'd caught that. So he had done a 60 already, but I mean a bigger fish. So
right.
2 60s at the time.
Wow. And so you caught the 65, and then about a month or so after that?
It's literally a month later.
You caught a 61 pounder, which was called
Green 123.
So that was a 123.
Yeah, so 123, 124, the 2 big ones, you know, when they were put
wow.
in. So yeah, literally a month later. It was October the 5th, and then
looking at that one now,
November the 3rd. That one was, and that was at Swim 32. That was.
And is it right to say you're only the third angler in this country to catch 2 different fish over 60 pounds?
Yes, I am, yeah. The other 2 guys are sort of non-publicity. I won't name their names. I know who they are, but it's unfair on them. And the fish they've caught, but they've, you sort of 2 tones, parrot sort of carp.
Yeah.
They're the ones holding there. But yeah, it's quite an elite club. And I never joined there to set out to do that. I joined Grenville to fish for nice, big carp, in nice surroundings, and try and beat my PB at the time. That's all it was. It was like, I'm not going here to catch 60s. I'm going to join it. But lo and behold, it's produced them carp. So they're for the love, mate, you know. 70
acre pair. I remember watching, crikey, what's the guy's name?
Was it Max Cottis at the time?
Max Cottis.
Yeah, Ace videos and all that.
Ace videos. And what was that? That was probably, I don't know, 2007, 8, that sort of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, when they're a lot
maybe earlier.
Yeah.
And
we've even got a video of that last one.
Put
a video up. Yeah, and I remember watching. I mean, when you see a fish like that, we're looking at the 1 2.
That's the 1 2 3. So I'd had a bit of practice on the first one, the 1 2 4. It's hard work, mate. You know what I mean? You got to have goalie to sort of right the fish.
Yeah,
I'm not a gym man, and but the adrenaline picked up there.
What are you on about? That
I'll tell you what, you hoisted that up quite easily there, didn't you?
I'm not a gym man. Up it comes.
I was a bit more prepared this time.
Yeah, you look like you've done that before.
Yeah, and all that. But
it's a monster.
Lucky enough, I'd had my mate Albie there, who's good on the camera, and I just knew, you know, when you just want that right person on the camera that you know you're going to pick it up and you're just going to get them. He shoots on a 1DX, sets all the settings up. He's like, it's like a paparazzi camera.
Huge. Look at that.
And
it's reassuring to know.
I haven't got to worry. I'll check the back of the camera. I know I'm going to get pin shot photos. So yeah, it was easy. You know, both fish I had in there both times. So
I've seen the video earlier. This is where he gets nice and close now.
Yeah.
Get the real proportions of it.
There we go. Yeah. Man, it's massive, isn't it?
Still growers.
Yeah.
So you could potentially be looking at a British record.
I think that one will creep up personally.
Do you?
People shoot me down with it, but I think that one's gonna creep round the back of the other one personally. But like I say, who knows? You know.
I like those sort of carp, scaleless ones. Yeah,
he's gnarly. He is, mate.
Yeah,
big old bruiser.
And
big
you said
snout on him.
Yeah. You said when you hook a fish in there of that sort of size, you've got a pretty good idea about what you've got on the end.
It's like hooking catfish, mate. We've all hooked a catfish, haven't we, in lakes that have had them in, you know, sort of while you're carp fishing.
But you hook a fish in a deep lake anyway, and they tend to feel heavier anyway. I mean, what distinguishes, a 40-pounder in there to a 60-pounder? Well,
it is a deep lake. It's very oxygenated because you get big winds on there, the size of the lake. They're fed with a high nutritional boilie to sort of maintain build weight, so they're strong fish. But once they pick up momentum, you're hooking them at long range, sort of 120, 40s, way out in the lake sometimes. Not all the time. Everyone's got this impression of Grenville, you need to be to the moon. I've caught them under my rod tips to 160 yards, all different ranges. And soon I fish quite tight clutches. You're getting bites like that, pick into it, and you just go. You're using big, heavy rods, sort of 4-pound test curve rods, stiff rods, and they're just going. And you just try and slow them, and they're just twisting on your feet. I've had them twist me on my feet.
I've never heard that say, twisted me on my feet.
and you feel it like that. You're literally shaking, and you're trying to turn, but you're fighting against it. I can't describe, literally put it this way, Si. I'd never, ever want to hook them 2 again and go for it.
You would?
I wouldn't, mate. I've done it now, and that's put to bed. Like, the first one, it's because it done me in a weed bed. I landed it. If it had carried on going, or it had gone through that cabin and on, and I'd never stopped it once it got that first run on me,
So you hooked it at that sort of range, but you had a good idea that you'd hook one of the big fish before you'd even seen it. And,
It's I knew it was a decent one, mate, because it surfaced, its tail flopped over, and it's like I reckon it's about 130 yards roughly. Again, you're gauging it, across the water, it's different. I was like, oh my god, that's a good one. And at the time I was using aviator TEs, like a spod rod. It's in half, at that range, and the wind was blowing into me. It's like, that whirring noise, like in the line. It's like, and it's moving, and it's like I'm wedged up in weed. It's just like cutting across. And it's battle royale, mate. I had it on for a long time, and it was nearly all game over under the rod tip. I had to wade out to net it because the margins are shallow. You see all like images of the nets pinned out on sticks. The reason is for the fish safe, you have to wade out to net them and rest them in there to let them recover, and it nearly done me on the marginal shelf. And I thought it's going, and in the end I thought no more. You're not having it. You're coming up. And I literally, like codding, just brought it up, just in the net, and. The rest was history on that one, mate.
Well, literally, no, well done on that as well. I mean, you go to fish a water like that, a 70-acre pit, so a bit of weed in there as well.
There is, up in the sort of the 20s, there's a lot of weed up there, big weed beds. But around the lake,
big winds.
Oh, enduring, mate.
And so they're getting on the winds.
They do, yes, they do, and they do back off them. Problem with Grenville, everyone thinks, hey, just go chuck out, you're going to catch Simo. Give it a go, mate. It's hard work. You've got to think about it.
It looks very specialised fishing on there.
It is, very meticulous. You sort of range fishing, deep, weedy water, range fishing. They can sit out range for a long time.
What are you fishing to? Clear areas out there? Are there bars in there?
There's a few raised areas.
Yeah,
You sort of at one end of the lake, sort of teens, sort of the cabin end, sort of 2 round to 6 by the island. 12, 14, you've got sort of a roadway that comes to you, but that's still like 18 foot. Do you know what I mean? That's like shallow ground, and the rest of it's sort of the bowl, sort of the 30s and sort of 18, 17, 16 going backwards, and then up in the 20s you sort of got again double figures and that.
Were you a long range angler before you fished there?
No, mate. I was a 110 slash.
Blimey, that is
trying my hardest, mate.
That is a jump.
Yeah. But no, I admittedly I had some lessons with Terry Edmonds.
Like we've all had lessons with him.
Yeah, can't take it away.
I think he's seen most carp anglers in the country.
Yeah,
now,
he's the boy, and he's a nice old boy to tell.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid to admit it. I did a bit of self-teaching, like watch some videos, and my friend Carl gave me a few little tips and that sort of how he goes about it. But I had to up my game, mate. Because if you want to play, you got to be doing it right.
You find that long range casting stuff for me. It's all about feel. I play golf and stuff as well, and it's all about feel for me. It's just feeling the loading the rod up, and just timing your movement properly and everything. And it's just a real art form in itself. I said to you about the guy Jordan.
He's one of my
friends
he's
on the
boy,
lake.
Yeah.
And he's just unbelievable. I mean, he's a big guy, but his timing is absolutely impeccable. I mean, I love, and to be able to fish it those sort of ranges and be able to feel the lead down and you've got a massive advantage.
Oh, without a doubt, it's a massive edge in modern day carp fishing, isn't it? It's if you can fish the furthest, you're always going to catch the most, especially on big expanse. Waters like Grenville.
Find the quiet water on any lake.
That's it, mate. They all sit out there. Go long for the bigger fish, mate. Isn't it? So.
But you said the PVA fishing on there. PVA bag fishing is that your go-to tactic on
No,
that?
not really, mate. No, everyone seems to think it. It's predominantly big beds of boilies. There's a chap on there that's proved it. It's like the baiting pyramid. He catches a lot of big 40-pound plus carp. Big beds of boilies work really well. But then they have a period, sort of that autumn time, around when I caught the second 60. Like solid bag fishing does work really well.
Why do you think it changes then? Just they're coming off the needing that.
Yeah, I think it's that time of year they're full of bait, aren't they? They sort of got their fats built up for sort of winter time, and it's like just nicking a bite, aren't you? They've seen it all, haven't they? And a little oily bag out there, they can't resist, mate.
I've seen your little oily bags.
You did the other day. You're quite impressed, weren't you?
I saw it work the other day, didn't I? It sort of worked until it fell off.
Yeah, got spat, didn't I, mate?
You're fishing quite small bags?
Yeah, small ones can get away with. You're trying to create like a little like sort of 4-ounce lead to a degree, because it's a 3-ounce lead rule on there, which is the rules, but creating it with boilie crumb, sort of mash it up in your crusher and you make a crumb and you sort of can pack it out. it creates a lot of more of a casting weight, which is within the rules. And you sort of oil them up, good sort of hemp oil.
How long do you think that oil works for?
I think it works for about 24 hours, mate. I think it's just bleeding off the bottom. It's all trapped on the bottom in your crumb and that, and you just see plumes come up. And I think that draws them down, especially when you're fishing like 30 foot of water. They're set up. They're not on the bottom all day long, are they? They're sort of mid-water and it draws them down.
Do you like to add the oil before, into the mix before, or as you're...
No, just before I do it.
So it doesn't need to sort of soak too much into the pellet?
You can do if you want, mate. Like, if you use sort of a ground bait mix or even a boilie crumb that we do, you can go as greenlit mussel powders in it. I've tried it all, mate. I just think it's that oil that draws them down. I think you think too hard about it. It's just that oil and that product to carry it out there is just all you need, really. I like to keep it simple, really, and I think you gathered that. We spoke about it a bit, haven't we? You
Zigs in that band on that lake as well.
Yeah, no zigs. Again, it's just a rule. A lot of places are now. There's no benefit in zigs for a lot of fisheries, is there? Snapping up and losing rigs. Owners want them big, don't they? So they want bait going in. So
and Paul, the owner, he's satisfied with the way the lake is kind of materialising, and
yeah. He's got the right men on there. He's firm but fair, and he interviews everyone you recommended, and he's got a good bunch of lads. Everyone gets on well. You can.
That's important, mate, as well, isn't it? Just to get you want a bit of camaraderie on there, don't you? On any lake, really, and there's too much seriousness. We were saying before, weren't we, in carp fishing at the moment, and there's a time for being serious and there's a time for enjoying yourself, but we do it for the love of it, don't we?
It's a hobby, mate. At the end of the day, you go to work, don't you, all week, and when you get to the weekend, you want to do well. We all want to do well, don't we? Like, I come away from a trip this week and I'm like, I gotta get back. I want every year I say one more big un for Christmas, as I call it. If I could just get that 140 plus carp, Christmas is good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've caught one big one for the autumn, if not more. But you got to enjoy it, mate. And we all take it serious. I take it serious. Crikey, I'd be lying if I'm saying I'll just chuck them out and lay back on my bed chair. I always wanted to do well, but you got to enjoy it along the way, haven't you, mate? So. Yeah,
but you said with Grenville as well. There's 1,000 high thousands. 1,700, 1,800 fish in there, do you think?
Yeah, it's around there, yeah.
It's so unusual just to have a lake with that many fish in there. It's growing to those sort of sizes.
Yeah, it's the modern day superwater, mate, isn't it? It's
well, I read in your profile, you like fishing superwaters, and I think Grenville, it goes against all these low stock waters, it throws it out the window. Do you see the way that's how carp fish is going anyway?
I still think you've got the ilk that like the targeting the single big uns. I've got friends that do it. I don't know how they do it, mate. Like going for years on the trot trying to catch them, and they do in the end, and crikey, what carp they are. But I like to go and get a good chance at a weekend of a big un or multiple big uns. You're not catching big uns every week, crikey. It's like you do catch 20, 30 pound bracket carp along the way, but you got two gangs of carp fishing now, ain't you? You still got the lads that sort of that traditional bounty hunting, as it's called, and then you got the lads like me that sort of that chasing numbers of big uns on that sort of commercial scale, isn't it? So. But
variety's nice as well. Different fishing scenarios and being able to challenge yourself on a big gravel pit like that versus with that type of fishing. I mean, it's not. The fish aren't hanging themselves on it.
No.
You were saying with Grenville as well. Why do you think the uniqueness?
What, in the actual lake?
The lake itself. Just the way it is ran.
Just the way it is. Yeah, it's just everywhere's got its own unique stamp on it, isn't it? But there it's completely different. It's.
But we can think of a lot of waters that have got maybe that head of carp in and maybe that sort of size, but they just haven't. They're not growing to those sizes, are they? So
again, you've got to class it. It's Champions League carp fishing, isn't it? You've got your Premiership waters. There's a load of them out there now, isn't there? All your different lakes with loads of, 20 plus 40s, etc., a couple of 50s. But you can never compare them other waters to Grenville. It's a league of its own, and that's how you got to treat it. And people have said to me, I suppose you've done it now. You've caught 260s. I was like, no. Doesn't mean I'm a better angler than you because I've caught bigger fish. You still got to go and catch others after that, and I still enjoy it. I'm a carp angler. If I can rack up as many 40s as I can, I'll just enjoy doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where it really shows who you are as an angler.
Yeah.
If it hasn't gone to your head and you've lost the plot with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, you've got so many fish to catch in there. You could fish there for a lifetime, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, I ain't touched the sides, mate. Some people say, "Oh, you've completed it." I haven't completed it. I've hardly completed it. You know, I've got very fortunate, along with good angling. I'm not going to put myself down on that. You've still got fish to catch these fish, and put myself in the right situation, and they've picked me up, mate. So yeah,
we've seen some big fish caught recently. I mean, Hemfen, a 70-pounder, wasn't it? This week.
Yeah, fair play to the chap that caught that. You can't take that away from him. He wants to enjoy doing that, but that's I don't like that knocking on the British record door personally, but that's my opinion. You know, so.
Yeah. It's where you draw the line. I mean, I think we're saying on a water like that as well. I mean, that looks like proper gravel pit fishing as well.
It's a gnarly lake, mate.
It just so happens, and I think someone said the other day as well that fish, I think it went in there. Like I say, I think it was upper 30s.
That's it, yeah.
And it's like a 70-pounder now as well. So, you know, there is something in a lake like that as well, which is, you know, a good environment for these fish to grow on as well. Yeah. But it's the water's just getting more and more cloudier, isn't it? With record fish nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's getting a bit, you know, sort of.
And the strain thing as well. You know, it's like, what has it got to be, a certain strain, a certain age, and it's a difficult one, isn't it?
It's getting a bit like the old catfish record, isn't it? It's getting a bit complicated, isn't it? And they're proving that the strain grows so well. And again, I believe it's a fed lake, so they're going to get big. But yeah, look, I can't take it away from anyone. I've got friends that go there that I personally know who've got albums to die for, but they treat it as a bit of a French trip. I think I would quite happily go and fish there, actually,
and treat it for what it is.
Yeah, well, I'll confess that I did have a trip on there.
Oh, did you?
Booked with a friend. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for the crack, you know. And I buckled. I was like, I can't bring myself to it. I will never live this down with my friends if I go. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And I sold it on to another person who likes going. At one of my shops, actually. He enjoys going. He doesn't get to go much because of family commitments and business. But you know what? Fair play to him. He goes there once, twice a year, and I think he had the big one at 64 a couple of times.
What was it, Captain Jack?
Captain Jack, yeah.
It's a good name, that.
Yeah, yeah. But no, so each their own, mate. You know, you get what you want out of it. I think it's been mentioned on this a lot of time. You do what makes you happy, mate. It's only you that can decide, isn't it? So.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Not be influenced by other people too much. Just do what you enjoy doing, really.
We all get influenced, don't we?
We're not breaking any laws, are we?
No. You're not upsetting anyone. Just crack on with it.
So where do you see Grenville going? Were your own fishing?
With my own fishing, yeah. I'm still a member. I rejoined this year. I haven't been a lot because I bought a house with my girlfriend Sophie in July when the season started. It all fell in place, so we got the keys, and I was hearing reports from friends catching loads of big uns. But I've been busy doing that with Sophie. Just done the house up, our first home together. Just got our dog Logan, bless him, an English pointer. So he's the boy. Love him.
Actually, you did mention Sophie. She played a part, didn't she? And
she did, mate. She takes full credit for catching Green 124. So yeah, I've got to tell the story because you know she will laugh about it. Basically, while we went to Gigantica on the Jolly Boys outing, as I call it, the works trip, and I like going them because I'm out on the road. I don't get to see anyone, and I really like the people I work with, so it's really nice. So it's big build up in it, and we get out to Gigantica, and on the way out, my mindset is I know what's going to happen. I was like, I'm in that van. I'm going to get last in this draw. I just know it. I know I'm going to get a last. And I did, 13 out of 13. I could have cried, mate. I looked to that road and I would have thrown myself on it if I could have done. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh no, like this is doom, you know. So cut a long story short, we done the week, great time, we had a laugh, we had wine and cheese night, you know, the real gathering. I had a 40 and a 20 odd or something like that. So I didn't blank, went away, blessed. But while I'm away, I'm getting texts from my mates. This has been out, that's been out. The lake's just gone mental, switched on. There's fish coming out left, right and centre. Oh, I've got to get there. I've got to get there. Like, you know what it's like in your own angling side. When it's fishing, you need to get there every way you can. And I've always been like that. Like, drop of the hat, I need to be there. So I'm getting more reports, texts, this, that. I get back on the Saturday, don't we? I caught up with Soph, like, I ain't seen her all week, bless her. And I'm like, I've got to get there. I'm going to try for Wednesday. You know, consider I've only been back a few days, so. And I've got wind, the lake's empty as well. Like, no one's there. And I know where they are. I know I need to be in 18. I need to be in 18. They're going to be there. And she's just got, I'm going to go. I've got a bit of holiday still. And I'm like, beauty of working here, as we know, drop of the hat. I'll go, Aris, can I have tomorrow off? Yeah, crack on, boy. Put it on brief. Off you go. I thought, I can do that. That's fine. It's not like working anywhere else. We have to book it in a month, 2 years in advance. I can just do it like that. I said, I'm going to go Wednesday. She went, you what? I said, I'm going to go Wednesday for a couple of nights. I'll be back for the weekend. No, you're not. You've just come back from France. And it's gone off. It's like Millwall away. I'm like, oh dear. I'm going to put my tin hat on here, do you know what I mean? And Sophie's lenient. It's like, she comes from a fishing background. Her father was John. He was in the match scene for years. So she understands his dedication to that when he was at his prime fishing. She knows it, so it's what makes it work. And she went, go at the weekend. I thought, yeah, all right. I'll go at the weekend. Like, you know, I'll go Sunday. I'll use my holiday on the Monday. I'll miss all the weekend. I'll get a bit of information because my mate's there. So it comes the weekend. I'm doing the bit where I think we got that for. I'm getting text 40 pounders, 30 pounders, 40 this, 40 that. I'm like, oh, I need to get there. But lo and behold, I had an interview for a winter ticket come up for the lake on the Saturday. So again, I changed it to going Saturday and said, so if I'm going to the lake, I never told I was going to get this ticket because I already had too many that year. But my friend Carla teed it up, and it's one again building for the future. We talked about that. So I've gone all the way up there. It's quite a long way for me, like 2 hours 40 minutes. You know, I'm getting further and further afield. Had my interview. I got on really well with the guy Dave. Got on. So I thought, right, I'll slip into Grenville, and if it's not looking right, I'll go home and I'll come back Sunday, Monday, whatever. So I pulled up.
Had the weather been good that week?
Yeah,
is that why you were so keen?
Yeah, southwesterly. We had a low come in. Paul was on holiday at the time. He has his family holiday, and he feeds the lake, as we know. And I think what's happened, they'd ate all their sort of food, and they'd sort of come in looking in mass.
Is that a good time to fish then? While he's away like that, and they don't see so much bait from him?
It can be, yeah. It doesn't happen all the time. I don't want to build that picture, but I think what had happened is they'd sort of. The weather had gone really well. We had good weather. And each year on there, you get like these little doom bugs, we call them. I forgot what they are, the technical word for them. But they get on the hatches, the carp in it. And that hatch hadn't really happened that year either. It's normally in the September you get these hatches and they're out striking in the middle. The seagulls are going mental.
Yeah, you see it, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem to happen last year that I noticed. If it did, it was only for a few days. It can happen for weeks. The year before, it went on for ages and just fished really hard. And obviously, yeah, I think they just got on that and come in even more so. So, yeah, the whole lake fish, you know, in a line, there's lads catching. And I spoke to my mate, said, it's gone quiet. I'm like, oh, no, I've definitely missed the boat here. I'm cursing, mate. I'm like, oh, no, I should have been here Wednesday. So we use mountain bikes on there for getting around because it's a big lake. It's just easy to get around, sort of, if you want to get in a swim or see your mates, whatever you want to do. So Ipswich Lee's in 5. Oh, hello, Lee. Oh, hello, Mr. Bailey. You know, always a friendly face to see. I'll get the kettle on. He said, they're not really here. I said, right. I said, well, Albie ain't seen them up the other end. He said, I don't know where they've gone. They've gone to ground a bit. He's like half packed down. I had a tea with him. I got a bit twitchy. He said, I suppose I better get round to sort of see Albie and that. Them lads are packing up. It might be worth just slipping in along there. He goes, yeah, probably best. There might be some other lads on. This is Saturday afternoon now. I've gone round, seen Albie. It's dead, mate. They're all gone. I've had 8 bites. My last one was yesterday. And they've well and truly gone. So I'm sat there for like an hour or two, teeing it up. I should just come back tomorrow, you know. 33's becoming available. That'd be a good shout. Seen one under the wires.
Are these twins fishing a similar area of the lake?
So
then?
14 is looking at the island. 33's over here. Lee's back sort of... The island's sort of here. Lee's sort of back over there. Seen one like that. Oh. And another. and another, like under the wires, because there's wires that run across it, and it was under the. If you're seeing them under the wires, you know you've got a good chance. They're still like 50 to 100 yards behind you, but that is close enough. Albie goes, there has been a couple down in the bay as well. I thought, that's still encouraging. Free is available, swim free. Looked on my phone, it's going to a northwesterly tomorrow. I know they get on a fresh wind. So right, T-bombed, right, Alb, I'm going. Sod it, they're not here. We ain't seen nothing. I've rode round, skidded past it. I went, Lee. He went, oh, I said, don't pack up. They're here. Oh, he goes, I've just seen one. I said, don't pack up. Stay. If you go, I'm going in behind you. If not, not pushing him out, but I'm saying, look, I'll go if you're going.
Yeah, that's
He said, no, I'm going to stay. Yeah. I'm going to stay. I said, right, I'll go in 3. So I stopped in 3. Lucky enough, I'd fished it back in the summer. I'd sort of done a bit of mark work. I caught out of there on a northwesterly. So I've gone in there, put my tag up. If anyone don't know the tag, obviously there's a board and you put your tag on it, Ian Bailey, and you can see where people are fishing, and Paul knows where everyone's sort of pegged out. So yeah, I've gone in there, got on with my business. I'm wrapped up the marker float, 100 yards. At the 3 trees with a sign behind, thrashed it out. Oh, horrible. It was gliding last time I was in here, and the float would come up. Now I fish it with just the lead on your braid and then your marker. I don't use none of these stems.
No, nor do I, no.
Because if it's like decoys, doesn't it?
Well, it tells you, doesn't it? I mean, if there's weed there, you know that if the float's not coming up,
Yeah, you're nailed up.
Or whatever's.
Yeah. But if that float comes up, that's fishing in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like an Elstow. Yeah. I've learnt that on Elstow, I can't get this float to come up. Albie's come down to me. I'm cursing. He goes, I'm going, mate. He didn't want to be around me for a cup of tea. I was sort of throwing all sorts of words, It's unlike me. I got a bit stressed out. Sort of feels like I'm missing the party, It's like a bit intense. And one more go, thrashed it out. Oh, there it is. Come up.
Yeah.
14 foot. I was like, oh, that's it. Float's bobbing.
Smallish area?
Probably from the screen here to the door. So I could put 3 rods on it.
Nice.
There was one part of it that was bald. I could wind in nothing. But the 2 right and left, you'd come in like you pulling for a break. But that's where you got your bites from. Yeah. Fishing like big hinges, like 3 inch hinges, big long booms, 12, 14 inch.
Do you always do that if you've got the choice between something hard and would you go for the slightly choddier stuff on the side of that then normally?
I normally go for the cleaner side. It's just all up here, isn't it, really? Yeah. But at the end of the day, all the food's still in that. On Elstow, when the spot was bald, it was over. If it was clean, it's finished. If you was still winding in eels or feature weed, you was fishing, and that was still a good spot. I think they just chewed its bits, and it's all blatant. But long as that lead would glide and that float would come up, and I was fishing. But what I did, I sort of freelanced them out. I sort of feel for a drop, reclip, go, and then I just line mark. I sort of staggered my rods through it because I think you can all be too regimented, all at 25. The best rod was 27 wraps, like through the bait in the end. So got the rods out, cut a long story short, 10 kilos of bait spotted up, whatever it was, again, 8, 10 k, can't remember roughly. It's like one of those ridge monkey buckets to the top, sort of the go-to on there. I think about, 8, 10 k. Kick back, barbecue on. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, Lee's had 2 30s.
So your advice was...
So it was a result. Good angling, he's a great angler. He fished well. And in that time, while I got a bit worried I was beating it up because I don't want to keep smashing it to pieces with lead. I'm going to ruin his fishing. I'm always thinking of me mate, or people around me. And so he was happy, bless him, and settled down. And that morning, the following morning, that wind just twisted, started coming at me. I thought, here we go. Sophie's spoke to me. She's got family things on that I've managed to get out of, bless her. Like, she's doing the family thing. She said, no, you fish. Sunday morning now. Just watch the day pass. I'm just like, again, a little bit, what's going on, And then I've seen one, sort of late morning. What that'd do? Under the wires, like at the cabin. And Shane had stayed in 15 and caught a real pearler, big 48, I think it's 48 pound to die for. And I got wind. I was like, they're still round there. Again, it's like, I should have been round there, They hadn't gone. Shane come round. He come round punching the air. I was like, go on, Shaney boy. He's like all pleased with himself. I've known Shane from Monks, you know, like he's a real top bloke, lovely fella. And he's buzzing, mate. I was like, oh, well done, mate. And I hopped over the fence, grabbed something out of my van, shook his hand when you could shake hands. I went, beep, right-hand rod. Elstow indicator, like, straight into it. I was like, oh, I'm in. Picked into it. Shane went, oh, you in? I went, yeah. And he went, zzz, in the weed. I was like, oh, no. Stuck. So I put the rod down, sort of bouncing on the rest, picked up, pulled it out, got it moving, got it in the net. It was a double. So all the fish that are coming out, like a double figure carp, you know. Everyone's catching 30s and 40s, like typical. But while I'm doing this again, Lee's got one on. It's starting to fire up for him. So I've got the rod back out. Normally fishing 3 rods on the spot, I sort of leave a rod out for an hour. But on there, it works really well where you get the rod out as quick as you can. So we normally have like a 4th set up with a rig on it and everything bait. Quicker you get out, 3 more spods, maybe 5 if you feel really fancy. And it normally encourages a quick bite. So I've done that. Lee's rung me and said, can you help me? I've got 2 30s in the nets. It's all like a mess.
Sounds mental.
Yeah, it's going off. The wind's piling in now. This is around sort of about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's sort of getting hotted up for him. So I've rowed down quickly because he needs some assistance. You know, he's in a bit of a mess. Done all the photos. I said, I'll let you be there. I better get back on my rods. You know what I mean? Like they're about. So I've rowed back up. Literally, Albie'd rung me at the time, my mate. Rung him back. I stepped over and I just stepped in my bivvy and the right rod's gone beep, beep. I've got to go, I'm in, mate. He went, yeah, sure, mate. I've put the phone, beep. It's going up, just picked it up. And it's gone, and it's just gone, I bet it's going, zzz, like that. It's just, I mean, it's on one and it's going and going. I'm like, oh my good Lord. Like I said earlier with the rod bent over and gone, slowed in the way. And I'm like, oh no, that's no good. That's a long way out. So I've put the rod down, clipped the indicator on, phoned out Albie back. I said, you never guess what, mate. I put one, it's done me in the weed. Like, Paul's not here. He's on the plane back from like Tenerife, I think, or something, where he'd gone with the family. I can't get a rescue boat out. You normally go out and free him up for you.
It's barbed hooks on there.
Yes, it is, mate. Yeah, size 6 is the limit you're allowed. So I didn't want to go too mad pulling on it. And it's gone beep, 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 like rocking. The indicator's rocking, but the wind's like trickling in. I thought, I just got to go for it, and So I grabbed me one of these. We use these Icy Tech cool boxes, and I grabbed it and put it up on the step. I thought, right, if I can get on top of that, it's going to get me more elevated. I've tried that. You're in wade. I thought I'll put me waders on, get ready as well, because I've got to go out and net it. You just get ready, ain't you? You know, that pause period. And I'm like, can't move it. In the end, I just walked down to the front of the swim and just went, pulling back, and I felt this break. I thought, it's like you'd been spat, like, you know, that jolt, and it's come off, and it hit the surface, and this tail, when it went lopped over, I was like, oh my good Lord, that is a big one, you know. So it's cut to the right. I'm like, here we go, battle royale now. Like, I'm winding. It's just gone more right. It's gone out in front of 4. It's nowhere near Lee, so I'm safe. I'm not going to pick him up. Brought it back round. It's gone to my left. It's gone like to the cabin. It's gone over my other lines. I'm like, don't pick up my other lines. Back round. Again, it's still out long. I've got about 80 yards. I've gained on it now. It's all a bit of a blur at the time, isn't it? The adrenaline's going. And it's coming. I've started gaining on it, but it's going right again. And what happens in 3, you've got this sort of like spit of reeds, and it sort of bays back in. It's trying to go in the bay. It knows what it's doing. I'm like stretched out. I'm on my tiptoes. If I go any further, I'm gone, mate. I'm hanging on like reed stems around me. And I've just guided it back round. Quick, winding, tip under, winding. And it's come around surfacing me. I've just seen it go past me. Like, that's a 50-pounder. Like, that's going to break my PB. It's massive. And it's all of a sudden, it's just like dived down and just shredded me. Like, I've got to give it. And I thought, I've got to slow this, because if I never stop it now, that could just cut me or just keep going. You know, the hook hold's wearing, you know, it's been on for a while. So I wound it up. I wound, brought it up, and just kept butting, come up, and I literally got my diamagnet, holding onto the little, you know, the little spike on the end as far as I can reach. It's just rocked in on like the waves and just gone in. I'm like, oh, I've got it. I've pulled it towards me. I'm like, 50-pounder. Now there's this thing on Grenville, I call it. If you call it £30, it's a 40. If you call it 40, it's a 50.
Yeah.
And if you say that's 50, I've heard it. Many people say, "Oh yeah, it looks £40." It's a 50 normally. Do you know what I mean? I was like, "That's me."
No one wants to say it's a £60.
No, I'm not even. I'm never thinking of a £60. I'm thinking I've got a £55 PB here, roughly. I don't know. It could be, I've got a PB. This is it. I've done it. I've just I've gone into military mode. All cool, like no panic. Like I unhooked it in the water, got rid of the rod, put it up on the board, and I sort of rested it in the net. So you stake them up, clip it all down. It's all secure. The fish is safe. It's all just resting in the water. I was like, I don't want this getting out. I don't want this getting out of the net. And I can see Lee's into another fish. I was like, right, I've got to get it secure, but I sort of need to know what it is. So I've zeroed a sling. I've double slinged it, so I've put a sling and another sling, like two together, slid it in, rolled it out, and got it onto the mat. Lucky enough, I could walk up the side. I was like, let's weigh it. Paul's not here. You ring Paul for everything over 35. He's got full trust in us. You know what I mean? He knows you are an experienced as an angler. I put it up. I sort of got together, zipped it all up, sorted it all out. Fish is safe. It's nothing. I'm just like, put it on the... And it's gone to 65.12. Like, oh my God. I didn't know what to say, so I just took a photo on my phone and sent that to Sophie. Just sent it. And I thought, after I've obviously go back, staked it out, put it in the water, got it all secure. I've sent that to Sophie, tell the story right. And I've got to go tell someone. I've got to go and tell someone. So I've just walked down to Lee and gone, look at that, Lee, on my phone. He's got fish in the net. I'm almost dampening his moment.
Yeah,
again, he's catching 30s for fun.
Yeah.
And it's all about me. It's not normally like that. I'm like, Lee, look, I've got to tell someone. He went, oh my God, Mr. Bailey. I said, I'm going to try and phone Paul, but I know he's on a flight. There's nothing I can really do. Well, lo and behold, he's stepping off the plane. He's like, everything all right, mate? I was like, Paul, I've got a 65.12. I don't know what one it is. He went, right, mate. Everything. I said, it's all secure. Me and Lee have sorted. Lee's going to sort it out with me. Right, he goes, keep me updated. He goes, I'm not going to make it back in time. I was like, no, mate, we'll sort it out. Phone, on the phone, Albie, friend air photographer, Blue Eyes, get him there. I need some help. I want my right friends there who are up the road, all Bedfordshire lads. They're all going to come up. Lee's going to be there. I've got 3 reliable lads, you know what I mean? Friends that I know are going to help and get the job done right. And there's another chap, I think his name was Jason, in 6. He was on a guest. He come and helped, bless him. Real nice guy. He done the video as well. He helped out, got some good shots, and the rest was history.
You need a good photographer. I'll tell you what as well. We were saying before about digital scales. There's a lot to be said for having digital scales as well, isn't there? I mean, just making things a little bit easier as well. Did you say, was it Ipswich?
Yes. So you have to wind the clock back. The December of my first season, on the Friday, I'm out doing my rounds, and I know Lee had gone because he'd gone with a friend, and I think I didn't miss him. I'd been there the weekend. I missed him. And I had some real odd phone calls. I'm driving round. Teacher Tim ringing me. Missed call from Lee. I ring Lee. I just keep getting, that tone where someone's on the other line. Tim's in lessons teaching as he does. I can't get hold of him, but it's all really weird behaviour. Have you spoke to Lee? No. I got hold of Lee in the end, and it's like this adrenaline panicked voice that he's had a night of full on action. He's ended up with this fish that's bottomed out his Happy Hookers Nash scales from 1995. £56, boom.
Yeah. We've all had a set of those at some point. Yeah.
He's I think he's upgraded them now, bless him. I've spoke to Paul. He wants them weighed on digital scales to get the record right. I said, well, it's a 60, Lee, isn't it? You've got a 60. Oh, yeah. Ralph's identified it. It's green 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's got to be 60. So I'm in a tackle shop, lucky enough in my job. Oh, I've got some Reuben Heaton digital scales, £132. I'll take those. I purchased them for Lee. Got them down the lake, weighed it up, 61.12. He's buzzing.
Nice.
Helped him out. And I've took them away with me. And thought, well, I need them anyway. There's a fish in there, they're going to bottom out my £60 ones now. I never know, do I?
I'm sure he wasn't bothered about paying the extra cash, was he, for a new pair of scales?
No, he's time to invest. He got his wallet out, bless him.
Did he? Yeah, great.
Yeah, but no, so, yeah, we weighed that for him. Almost a year, a year later, I've weighed that green 124 on. So it's had 2 UK 60s on those scales.
Blimey.
I put that one back. Everyone sort of left me be, and they went, "You might catch that other one." Just imagine. I thought, I'm going to catch that other one. I sat there and looked out. I thought, I'm getting that other fish. And you know them sort of senses you get. Now, Tom spoke about it on the early podcast about 11:11, and I'm really into that as well.
Oh yeah.
Fascinated by it.
He's had so many different, occurrences.
Yeah, mine all revolve around fishing and 2 magpies. Everything's 2 magpies, saluting all the time, 11:11s. If I'm seeing 11:11s, I'm going to catch. And it always...
You're looking out for them?
I never look out. They just come at me. I'm seeing a lot at the moment of them, and I reckon, something good's going to happen.
Wasn't Dovey saying that at the end of his last podcast?
Yeah, he was saying something similar like that.
I'm just trying to think what's...
it's a guardian angel looking over you, isn't it, is the theory on it.
Well, yeah, that's what they...
It sounds all spiritual and a bit out there. But, I'm really into that. And if I'm seeing magpies, I'm just like, I'm saluting them all the way. This is going to be good.
He needs to give the old Buddha a rub now and then, doesn't he?
I'll tell you what, give the Buddha a rub there.
Yeah,
we're making this...
Nick, on his belly.
On his belly?
Yeah.
Away he goes, mate.
Nick Hellier
That's good,
brought that in for us.
I like that. It's a bit different. It's not like my spot.
No, me and Si have been rubbing the belly, haven't we?
Yeah, it's brought a nice soothing atmosphere to the studio as well.
Peace, love and unity, mate. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I like it, mate.
Yeah, the first Buddha that we've got. We were hoping for something a little bit bigger, really, weren't we, Ted?
We thought he was bringing a Buddha in.
4 foot high Buddha
truck.
Yeah, great big thing.
Should have done, right. But, he didn't let you down, did he?
Well, you've given it a stroke now, so...
it's all good vibes, mate, isn't it?
That's it. You're going to catch this weekend, though.
And then you end up catching that 1, 2, 3 after that.
Yeah, so it's, I fished a bit in between, I was catching a few, and I fished in 32 the week before. I caught green 1, 2, 3, and I had a 30. And normally it's night action in that swim. We're getting in November now, and I've hooked this fish. I've slept in that morning. It's about 8 in the morning. I've hooked this fish, and it's just gone. Zzz, can't stop it. Going. Albie's down in 33 with Viney having a social that I thought they'd be up. They didn't notice. Going, gone. I just kept winding in. I dread to think our fight spat me. I hooked it about 140, 200 yards out, mate. It just kept going. It just done me in the end. So I bought in. Just went down. I've just lost a good one. Like that. Probably a double. You just try and brush it off. And that was it for the rest of that trip. The following week, I fancied 18. Albie beat me to it. I was like, gutted. I was like, I really wanted in there. But, okay, he was there first. He got the swim, good angling. That evening, he's had a 48. I'm like, I needed to be in there, but not saying I would have caught it. But, yeah, well done. Helped him out. But the fish were that side of the lake. I've gone in 32. It's set to go a big southwesterly. I mean, gusts of 30 odd mile an hour up to 40s. Real good wind assisted swim. Big area, deep water. There's a bit of a feature out towards the house. Comes up a little bit. But I've got my certain marks. Now, I've done quite a bit in that swim. I'd rather fish it over 33. People laugh at me, but I feel a lot more comfortable in there. I know I can land them easier. It's a nicer part of the swim, like the lake to fish. It's a lot easier to hook them and land them. And I went in there and I needed to be the other side of the lake. I couldn't get over there. It was all stitched up. I'm watching them in the binos. I've seen them near... Lee's back. I'm like, Lee, they're near you. And he had a 39-pounder. Albie's catching well. I've kept at it. That night, Albie's like, you're going to catch. I'm all doomed up. I'm like, I'm not really on them. Again, I don't sound like I'm miserable every trip, but you want to do well, don't you? Your time's valuable, especially weekend angling. It's like you want to make the most of it, and the time's ticking. Your window to catch them's ticking. And like I say, I've put a 65 pound. It don't matter. That's old news now. I want to catch more, mate. And about midnight that night, I sat up late, left hand rod. I'm in. Got that in 30-pounder. As I've sorted that one out, middle rod's gone. 30-pounder. final rod on the rest, that's gone as well. Another 30 pounder. So I've caught 3 30s in the space of like sort of messing around for a couple of hours. So I thought I'll sling them up. It's that time of year. Paul likes to see them. Sweet, like I've got out of jail here, and the wind's picking up now. Like all leaves and debris are coming past. It's gusting across the lake. You know, it's all like dark and gloomy night. You know, real proper autumnal carp fishing. And I'm on these solid bags. You know, there's a bit of bait out there, but I'm freelancing these bags out as far as I can put them. And what I was doing was making line markers on the rod tip at 37 wraps, and if that's settled on the rod rest, I know I'm pretty much 150. And I put this rod back out, the left hand rod, and it fell short. I was like, that ain't no good. Redo that, Ian. Like, what are you doing, mate? Like, there's fish out here. Don't just leave it. So I wound it in. I thought, I'm going to wrap this to 40 wraps. Let's see. And the gust of winds were coming. I caught hold of it, and the wind just took it. Ding, felt it out. Bonk. I was like, oh, that's all right. Back on the rest. Went to bed. Like, I need some sleep, you know. Woke up, like, I set my alarm. Text Paul, said, I've got some in the sling, mate. Come round, like, sort them out, you know, some nice fish, scaly
so
ones.
that cast that you put back out, was that around the same area that you caught the other fish from?
Yeah, the first one. But I thought I'd go a little bit further. You know, you just think further you can get, the better, you know.
So even though you've baited maybe a little bit
going
shorter,
through the bait,
that doesn't bother you.
No.
Right.
On there, I found it's a tip I picked up off a friend. Very good angler. He said, try one through your bait. And on there, I've never thought of it. You always think, put everything on the bait, don't you?
Well, you don't like lines going through
No. You sort of, don't get your lines near them. But I've caught putting the middle rod through. Like, remember I said about the first 60, the 27 wraps rod, the rod through the bait, you know. So I think they come into it and hit it first, or loiter out, you know, the one off the spot sort of theory. And Albie's rung me. How you getting on? He said, garbage over here, nothing. They've gone, I reckon. So I've had 3. So, yeah, I knew it'd come good. Like, well done, all that. Left hand rod, beat. Like, I mean, the rod's like chubs on the end, and you think how far you're out with all that line stretch. I said, mate, I'm in. I've got to go. And I've never had bites around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's always hours of darkness. Come daylight, just put around winding if you want. Go see your mates or go up the shop. You're wasting your time. Picks into it. Usual zzz, just going, and it's like I've got to slow this, and it's like pulling me and twisting me. I'm like, this is good. And I'm whipping my line up, and it's going out. Whipping my line up. I thought I've got to clamp down this because I lost this one week before. It kept going and going. So I clamped down on it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to haul you in. I'm not going to let you get the better of me in this deep water at range, because once they get the better at you, I've known someone to almost be spooled on there, mate.
Really?
Yeah, spooled. And you're talking 300 yards or whatever it is of tapered line.
You're marlin fishing.
Holding on to the base near the reverse taper.
Jeez.
Because it kept going. Like, you know, it sounds all like the one that got away, but yeah, they're strong, powerful fish. So I've just kept bringing it in. Waders on. God, this is heavy. The rod, again, you took big 4-pound test curve rods, base it in half. Thought, right, let's get in the water. Grab the net. Got me 50-inch arms on there that I'd ordered up from Graham that year. Like, I had it in my head. I need bigger arms from 42, you know, for these big uns. Bless him. Threw it out in front of me. And it's hit the shelf and it's gone. I was like, oh no. This, you know, that horrible grating side that you get and you think the hook hole's just getting worse. It's come up and it's just, all of a sudden, it's come up like underneath me. I'm like, looking at me, I'm like, that's a good one. And just sort of spreader block netted it. And like, oh, it's in. Got a net. 50 pounder, mate.
Yeah.
50 pounder.
Well, we know what that means.
Yeah, 50. Like, staked it up. I actually took a photo of it in the net and I've sent it to Paul. I said, I put big un in the net or something. In typical Ease humour, he went, what's a big un then? I said, well, it's a big fit. I don't know, a big un. So I rang Albie back. I said, I've got a good one, mate. It's 50. I said, can you come round, mate? He went, yeah, I'll wind in. I think he'd had to redo a rod or something. I said, mate, I really want you round in. All my slings are taken. I had 4 slings. I had one available. You obviously need to put them in the slings to transfer them out and then weigh them. So bring your sling, mate. I'll come round. I'll make you a cup of tea. Like, please. Yeah, I'll come round. Because I've got these others. So he's come round. Everyone's gathering, like, and it's still in the net. And we're looking at it. And Albie's gone in his way. Has looked and gone, like that look, you know, it's so big. And so, yeah, we're like, yeah, it's 50. So we had a bit of a social. While we're doing that, I've had another bite on my right-hand rod. That was just like a 20 or something. Almost just chucked it back. Sounds blasé, but you got all this to deal with. I've got 5 of them all lined up, 4 slings. I'll never bait that again. And we got it out. Paul went and got his Reuben Heaton's at the time. Just wanted to get a double check on it. And 61-12. The fish that I'd helped Lee with that December. So,
and do you think so the fish that you hooked and lost then,
I think it's a good calibre, sort of, they're 40 pound plus.
They're the 2 biggest fish in the lake?
They are, yeah.
By a long way, or?
Not by miles, there's a few sort of upper 50s creeping around that mark.
And you reckon that one of these 50s one of the many.
One of many
could overtake those, and actually,
I think so. I think they will do. You get that, but again, that's just my prediction. They're big fish at the end of the day. Even if it was 61 pounds. It's still a massive carp in the UK, isn't it? We're talking about records and bits. It's
crazy,
big fish, and
I
was like, wow, unbelievable. Basically in a month, 2 UK 60s.
Just talking about your baiting approach a little bit is. So you're putting a bit of bait out, but you would still use a solid PVA bag over bait?
No, I'd be more off or through the bait.
So you would intentionally make sure that the solid bag was on its own somewhere else?
It's more of a pick 'em off. Pick 'em off.
Do you think you're catching those big uns on their own then? Because the other one was on you weren't catching multiple amounts of fish before that either, were you?
No.
So it was an out the blue kind of capture as well, a little bit.
Yeah, and it also changed quite a few theories amongst members on there that the solid bags normally get the smaller fish. It changed our theories when I got that. Like, wow. Look, at the end of the day, any carp's going to pick it up.
I think it's what the fish are used to seeing as well. I mean, fishing a single bait on its own, as we know, can be effective for
very
big
good
fish.
Yeah.
And on a water like that, where they're seeing a small amount of bait on its own when they're used to seeing a lot of bait all the time, can work the same sort of way.
I think they drop their guard, but I think the problem is the smaller fish get to it because it's such a packed cluster of goodness, and the rig's super efficient, isn't it? It's a short. Aaron spoke about it. So our fish obviously short rigs in a bag because they're all nicely presented, and I think they're too efficient. You look at big fish rigs, big clumsy agriculture. You could plough a field with them kind of rigs that catch the big ones, don't they? Because they're just clumsy, aren't they? Whereas a nice, neat, slow sinking, you just get everything because they're just too efficient every time. I think that's why you get the small ones straight away.
Those other fish that you were catching, they were on standard hook links, were they? Or
they were on bags as well. I'd put the, because it'd been slow.
Would you be tempted to bait an area then and just put the bait and put your hook baits all the way around the outside of it and not put it necessarily anywhere near it? Yeah.
Basically, I've got a theory that I'm mimicking what Paul does, where he goes out, puts some bait out to feed the fish that he does. And sometimes you stumble across it and they're on it. It's all mushy on the bottom. They're loving it. And if you go through it, you're nicking them. You can nick them off it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm just mimicking. I mimic what I think. I said to Paul about it. I said, I'll bait a line because he's always intrigued what you're doing. I said, he's just generally interested, the angling, and I'm just trying to mimic that, trick him into a sort of false sense, really. So, just like sell boilies out the bag, nothing drastic, mate. Crumb them up now and again to fill the spom. I don't put all magic potions like oils and that. I just out of the bag. If they want it, they'll eat it, mate. The hardest thing in carp fishing is just getting on them, isn't it?
Well, they're being fed on boilies anyway.
Natural food source.
They're not staying off boilies, are they?
No, they love it, mate. It's McDonald's every day, isn't it?
It's McDonald's every day, and it's exactly what you want to be feeding them, really,
exactly,
isn't it?
Mate.
So,
and it is the rules as well, so I to sort of highlight it, but it's a boilie only rule. So
you said, just moving away from Grenville a little bit, you were saying about tickets. Didn't you say you had $5,000 worth of tickets one season?
I did, yeah. It's quite
that's mental.
Yeah, I've been known for it.
We haven't got that much spare cash, Tobe, have we?
No. Like I said, we're still going
need some bonuses here, don't we?
Yeah, I haven't any more, mate. Now I've got a house. I was living at home with mum and dad at the time.
Oh, the good old days.
I live in the dream.
Yeah, it all changes after that.
Oh, it does, mate. Responsibilities now. Got to grow up.
You're growing up.
Yeah, I am, mate. Yeah, I've made it. Yeah.
But that's a lot of money, is it? Have you always had a bit of an obsession with collecting exclusive syndicate tickets?
I have, mate. I think it stems from my mum. She's been in dog showing world for God knows how many years. She's shown championship level dogs at crafts, etc. Bred Irish setters.
Actually, my mum wants a pedigree dog. She needs to speak to your mum, though.
Have to come tap us up, mate.
I might have to as well, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Additions to the family, Toby.
Well, I might as well come along as well then.
What about any dash hounds?
Sophie wanted one of them, but
mate, yeah, I'd do it as well.
they are lovely.
They are cool dogs, aren't they?
They're wicked.
Yeah.
Want to get two and call them sausage and chips.
Yeah,
sausage dog. Brilliant dogs.
They're wicked, but no, we've got our Logan. He bless him. But I get it from my mum. She's always been full on, and she's always shown at the best level. And I think it stems out. I always, if I'm going to do it, I've got to fish at the best I can. I'm not taking it away from lads that can only afford, say, club tickets, etc. You in life, your luxuries as your pastime is to what you can afford, isn't it? So, and I've always, put my name down for top lakes, known people, and be a nice person. You get on good waters.
Always been successful getting on.
Not
these,
really, mate. One that I wanted for like 20 years, I got turned away from, which hurts me every day.
Still hurts you.
I thank the person who said that I basically stopped me getting in because I wouldn't have been at Grenville.
Right.
It's a lake in the Colne Valley. I won't mention the name.
We won't mention the name.
No, I'll be respectful. It's the club waters that we all know about. It's no hidden agenda. I've always dreamed of getting on and fish on and off for 20 years. My friend round the corner, his dad had a ticket, and I used to go sort of float fishing on one of the lakes and sort of a little bit of light carp fishing, and stemmed on to one of the bigger lakes on there. I caught some fish myself. Again, never publicised them in the rules. And one day I finally got the application to put my name down. It's like the golden ticket. Oh, I've got the application. So I filled it all out, sent it off. Never heard anything back. And I sort of lost touch with my friend and his dad. His dad had gone to Spain, come back. My friend had gone to sort of London, pursuing a career, but still kept his ticket. If he went now and again, it was just like an excuse to go fishing, nice bit of fishing, And a friend of mine on Elstow, he'd been a long-term member. I said, "Oh, you don't mind having a check if I'm on that list, do you?" He went, "Yeah, of course I will. Like, he'll do anything for you, old Walls, bless him." He's a larger-than-life character. So he checked for me. And typical, he goes, "Do you want the bad news or the good news?" So I was like, "Well, give me the bad news." I said, "I'm not on it, am I?" Yeah, you're all on it. That's the good news. Bad news is he's got to wait another 2 years. I'm like, "Yeah, crack on, mate. Like, 2 years is fine with me. At least I'm on it." I said, "You can't re-sponsor me, mate. Can you, like, I've lost contact with my friend's dad." He went, No, I'll do it. Oh, God, bless him. He spoke to the chap, re-sponsored me. Oh, great. A couple of years later, I'm out in the garage messing around, middle of summer, sort of late summer, sorry, and "You're going to love me forever. Your interview's up September." Oh, brilliant. Oh, yeah. The world's good, mate. It's come. The day, I'm counting down the days, gone to it. So, like, gentleman's club in Rickmansworth, went there and sat down in front of a committee of like 14, and I thought it was going to be like the gun to your head, like up against the jury.
It's like being in front of the firing squad.
Oh, mate, I was sweating bullets. Yeah, I was sat there. Lucky enough, I'd had a pint of Foster's Top before to sort of calm.
Do you think these guys just enjoy watching people sweat a little bit in front of them?
I think so, yeah. Maybe it's a bit of an ego trip, but I don't know. They seem pretty laid back. There's a few lads slouched in the corner like that.
Some are asleep.
Yeah. Can I go home yet? Can we just get him through?
How many people do they interview at a time?
I think there's blocks of like 10 at a time.
God,
you get your name called in. You're sitting there.
Are you waiting with the other guys then?
Yeah. They're just all sat around. Everyone's
pacing up and down, are they?
It's all a bit quiet. There's people coming in on bands and offences and getting their wrists slapped, and there's lads like waiting like me, like stood there like tumbleweeds going past. Oh, I don't know what to say. Walls is going, "You've known me for 20 years. I'm like, yeah, I've known you for 20. You got to blag it up a bit if they ask you. But you got in there and nothing was asked. They're like, "Yeah, these are the rules. This is this and that's that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've got a ticket here. I've got a ticket. I've made it." And because everyone's going, "You won't get in because you work for, you've been in the magazines or something." I'm like, "Well, I haven't really for years." I'm like, "I work for Korda. That's my job. I'm proud of it. But I've never sought publicity to the max. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to be in the limelight as such. I'm going to be all right. I've got in everywhere else and always got on with everyone." And so they're reading out the rules. I'm thinking, I'm in. If he's telling me the rules, he goes, "Yeah, and when you send off the check, you get this back and you get your card and all that." I'm like, I'm in. Like, so I went out. And just before I went out, a chap was to me right to me, goes, "Are you sponsored by anyone?" I thought, "Oh, here we go."
The last question.
I thought I'd made it. When they say look forward, that the fox in amongst all the dogs in that image, just look forward. I was like, just looking forward. And I'm like, well, I'm not sponsored, but I work for Korda. I've been there X amount of years at the time. I'm an account manager. It pays the bills. It's got no reflection on my fishing. Like, my fishing is my own time. I'm not here to write a book or publicise. I respect what you guys do, and I really do, respect it. Just want to be a part of a nice club. Yeah, all right. I was like, I thought, well, that's been brought up. Yeah, 2 weeks later or so, I got the letter like, yeah, you're not in. And it's like a knife through my heart. Like, I literally, again, I could have cried, mate. It's like my whole time had been built up. I'd fished Elstow, I'd fished the Colne Valley down the road, I'd done Bundy's, and I was like, I just want a bit of retirement carp fishing, a really cheap ticket, sort of to maintain, moving forward, buying houses and stuff. Like, I can maintain that. That's 5-star carp fishing for like £200 a year.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Full of gnarly mirrors. And it was like one of the road to getting the free, in my opinion, like we spoke about, it's like the magic tickets. And it sort of it wounded me. I took it quite offensive.
It's a difficult. I mean, it's difficult. You need the right members on the lake, but it's very judgmental to try and gauge somebody's personality and character in that small moment of time when they're sat in front of when you're sat in front of everybody like that, and to be able to make a judgment call that quickly, it's almost like being found guilty before you've even had a chance to sort of go to court, isn't it? Yeah. It's a difficult one because you want the right people on the lakes, and appreciate that and respect the traditions of these old clubs, but
totally,
it's a very antiquated way of kind of finding the right people, I think, as well. But that's what it is anyway. That's what it is, and
rules is rules, mate. At the end of the day.
But at least you went away, and you wouldn't have caught a 61 and a 65, would you? So
no, I thank the bloke that sort of said no to me because I worked for Korda, was apparently the story.
Colne Valley fishing interests you still?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a culture and a scene that's been around for a long time.
It is, isn't it?
Long may it live. As you know, being a member of Save. What seems to be a part of, and a magical part of the world. And I've always dreamed of fishing around that area even more so, even though I've done a bit in the area, but living up in Suffolk now, I'm more sort of East Anglia carp fishing, Cambridge mainly, because it's on my doorstep and it falls on my patch with my work, whereas I'm very clever that I cover East Anglia. I always join lakes,
I'm sure,
where I'm near the shops to the carp lake. So confusing your head, isn't it? So it's one of them. Look, we move on from it. Fair play. Rules is rules. I respect the guys there. Fair play to them, mate.
Yeah, of course.
It is what it is.
Of course,
so.
yeah.
But they moulded me going forward. I emailed Paul, and before I knew it, a couple of weeks later, I was having an interview to get on the waiting list for Grenville. So
thank them very much. Anyway,
I'll buy you a beer at that bar next time I see you, mate.
But you have fished on a very traditional syndicate, Elstow
Pit 1,
which
mate.
is as you said, it's a gentleman's sort of place. You've got rotors and everything like that on there. How did you come to fish there?
Probably the most feared syndicate in the country at once upon a time. I come across it through the fascination of the angling and the lake and the fish.
Why was it so fascinating?
I think the way you fished it at the time, the free rods on the spot wasn't so in vogue a long time
Tramming
ago.
the rods up.
Yeah, everyone does it now, don't they? All go down linear and drill it at a swim and spot it up 80 yards. Everyone does it now. It's not so much an edge. But when I sort of picked it up, this is not long ago, it's sort of talking 10 years ago, it was a massive edge in your angling. It's like breaking rods up here, then everywhere. It was all on a feature. Your hemp corn pellet, a few boilies for good measure. Put out one of them flat bottom spods if you use that, and the carp in there as well, like amazing. When I got my ticket, there was 12.40s in there. Scarface, a few years before, had done like £48. That was on its way out. The way those Elstow carp went is they'd get big and they'd just sort of shrink like old people. And when I was on there, Scarface was £39 and down to 34 and just vanished and gone. And there's still quite a few left to go, but they were just dwindling each year I fished. I was like, I've got to catch them before they die. Like, I'm fishing for fossils. This is history carp fishing. And I still want to make the most of it and be a part of it, So it was a way of life,
Thomas was saying that his dad Carl, because he fishes on the same road.
Yeah, Carl, yeah.
And if he had a bad session on Save in the 80s, he'd pop over to Elstow on the way home just to catch a few fish because, the fish weren't particularly big then and you could get a few bites on there. But that changed. That changed quite quickly, didn't it?
It did, because it was at one point it was a free for all. Stuartby Angling Club had it and then they lost it. Free for all. The fish were getting moved left, right, and centre around Cambridge. There's a few ended up in certain lakes local, and they got naturally thinned out through being stolen at the time, moved around in backs of cars, and Len got hold of it. I think it was around about 92.
Lengard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God rest his soul, bless him, gentleman. And he got it on the linear fisheries, and I believed he filmed the Harefield hauling videos with Rob Mail, and he liked the rotor system, so he bought it in on Elstow. It was week on, week off at the time, a bit like what you guys have. But in time it turned to a weekend every other A rotor or B rotor. So I was a defector on Elstow. I started off on B, then I went on to A.
Did the rotors have names or just A and B?
A and B.
Yeah.
But in the latter years, we was called the On It rotor, and B was called the Camping rotor, because all the old boys were left on there, and our rotor was like fierce, but friendly at the same time.
You said it,
yeah.
and you because I said to you about like having the money to buy tickets. You said back in the day there you could just give Len some post-dated
5 checks, mate, added up
happy
to 5,
days,
2, 5,
and that was it. Off you went as well.
Yeah, it is the ultimate working man syndicate ever in the world of carp fishing. Rotor system. So one weekend you can spend with your missus, and you got your fish in the following. You had a draw, so you get a fair stab at the swims. The fishing was mainly hemp corn pellet, so that's cheap fishing, isn't it? Full of big uns. And what else could you want? Do you know what I mean? And you had your own water because you was on a feature. No one could just. I never ever see anyone lashing your water. Not nowadays. You've got a lead like going like a bullet and a plume of bubbles going. Oh yeah, cheers, mate, because I'm on the fish. You never got that, mate. You had your own feature. You was all hung up on it, and yeah, what more could you want?
Here are a few people that fished on there, and it's right up there with their favourite lakes they've ever fished. It's it wasn't a particularly pretty lake though, was it?
Ugly beauty, as I'd say.
Yeah.
You had the workings over the back, all clay, hawthorn bushes, reeds holding the banks up. You never get out the sun. There's a little bit of shade. When it got windy, and when it got muddy, it got muddy.
And deep with some crazy features.
Yes, so pit 2, flat bottom basically, 30, 40 foot at some points when the water level was up. Pit 1, 20s to 30s, and you had the features that come up from like 28 foot up to like 10 foot, like on the Hagler, and it'd be a sheer cliff off the back. Every swim had its own feature, so it'd have names. So I was in the point, I was fishing the Hagler. I was in the stick, I was fishing stick bar. I was in corner knuckle, I was on hippos.
I like features with names.
Features with names. Everything had a name. Everyone had their own nickname. The features had names. The fish had names. You had some horrible nicknames, and you had some like really like
horrible ones.
Yeah, I won't repeat them, but yeah, some people never know their nicknames to this day. And my friend called one chap by his nickname, and he went, "You what?" He went, "Oh, sorry." Yeah. He dropped himself right in it. I think mine was Towie at one point, Bows. I think I got called the schoolboy when I first went up, but I had a few. But I think it settled on Bows in the end, so it's pretty.
I know a few guys that have got these nicknames, and you think they're never gonna really creative, good nicknames, and nobody actually remembers what their real name is.
No, exactly. Yeah,
but
you do. Yeah.
But these guys they go through their lives never knowing, which is hilarious.
No, by their nickname. Yeah, there's a lot of them still do it. Ipswich Lee, Albie, Blue Eyes. They're just their nicknames, and you just call them by it. So.
Did you fish every rotor religiously up there then?
Not every rotor. I did a lot of midweek fishing, like overnighters. We had like Thursday night club, which was always good because you'd get Thursday night and you'd get till 10 in the morning before the next rotor would come on. So I'd do that, sort of work through me lunch in the week, and then go off Milton Keynes, Bedfordshire. I could just cut off to work. So it gave me an extra hour in the morning. I'd make up for it through the week, and that caught me some fish, like extra bonus carp. Which was well worth the effort. You go to work a little bit tired, but you've caught some nice fish. Had some good times.
Were the other anglers on there tended to just fish the same sort of styles then, were they? So you said you make it sound quite standardised on there, tramming rods up and do the hemp and the corn and all that stuff. Was that what everybody was doing, or were you looking for a bit of an edge on there as well?
Not so much. You could sometimes break rods up, so you'd have 2 on a spot and 1 on the other. You could break up rods. There was more than one feature in most of the swims. But again, it mix up when you get in like the autumn in the white stick or bread and cheese. You could fish the deep water, sort of break your rods up, sort of boilie fishing, sort of still spodding them out, but you better boilies and bits. But The year that really shone through was 2014, was the boilie year. There's a chap that went on there called the Commando, we nicknamed him. Hence his
He
name.
knew he had this nickname?
I said it to his face and he looked at me like I had two heads. I went, yeah, you're called the Commando. He went, you what? I'm like, oh, yeah. He was like he was pretty heavy duty, but a fantastic angler.
Good nickname, though.
Yeah,
right,
it wasn't anything horrible.
No.
But he was lashing out chod rigs with 18mm pop-ups and spodding out boilies over them. It's like, you're meant to be on long braided hook links, mate, with like bits of rubber corn, trimmed down foam, hemp corn pellet, and maybe a few boilies if you're feeling generous. He was beating us up, mate. He was showing us the way. Like, it's one of them, you've got to join the party. And what had happened in the time, it's always been known for its rud. You see Martin Bowler catch them fours and that over the years. There'd been like, you get on lakes, and you like, this year it seems on a lot of waters, there's like a massive burst of tench everywhere, isn't there? Like, everyone's getting tenched out. Rud that year. Millions of them, it seemed like swarms in the margins, and you'd throw in like a handful of the mitt, like particle, just swarming through. Nothing's getting to the bottom. So obviously he's working well, he's getting his bait to the bottom. So we all started slashing open bags of boilies and some choddies, like naked ones on the line, cod rigs as we call them, big snowmen setups. Our rope was known for the cod rigs, like a B175 size 6, 10 to 12 inches of a coated hook link, like a snowman, you know, your choice of bait, and then like a yellow.
Is that like Albert Bromp used to do that, didn't he? Do you remember that in his fake sort of stringers?
Yeah, like a greedy pig sort of
greedy
style.
Pig, that's what he called it, wasn't it?
Yeah, in latter years. Yeah, along them lines, but it was called cod rigs because it was so agricultural compared to like a little sliver of foam and a bit of corn on top, you know. And that year is when they shone through. And I'd be, you know, one of my best years on there. The following year, I had a 50 fish season. That was my real last year, 2015.
Are you quick to cotton onto things like that? Then
yeah, I don't miss a trick, mate.
Yeah.
I don't. I've said it before. I mimic a lot. I see a good angler. Look, you're only going to get good by fishing with good anglers at the end of the day, and that makes you up your game. My friend, I won't say it, he'll get embarrassed saying, I fished with him and he made me a better angler. I'm not saying I'm the best, I'm not blowing my trumpet here, but I believe it made me a better angler because he upped my game. I was, I caught my fair share, but I went from average to sort of being up here.
And you don't necessarily notice it either, do you? It's just something that you're doing, and you might be whacking a spawn at 125 yards or whatever, and just think, nothing of it. But when you're surrounded by people that are all doing the same thing, it's just it becomes second nature, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you don't get in the mix, you're going to get left behind. And you look at those people that get left behind. I'm not being funny, but they don't catch much. But the boys that move forward, when at Grenville, I had to adapt to casting long range. I went on Elstow, I needed to fish tighter and a lot neater, learn the spodding. I went on Bundy's, I needed to learn adjustable zig fishing because at certain times, adjustable zigs worked. If you don't adapt with those, you're just going to catch hardly anything. And I want my album each season to be full up with carp.
And we got sticker. What fish was it? The
Black Cloud.
Black Cloud.
Late November.
Was that the highlight of your Elstow fishing, Bailey?
I must admit, I think Scaly two-tone at £43 out the pump.
Yeah, we got that as well. I like the I just like the fish that we're looking at now. It's quite a solid looking fish, isn't it, mate? And it's just got unbelievable sort of lines running down it. It's got a pronounced sort of lateral line, and but they're like it's like shaded, isn't it? It's got shaded colours all the way through it.
All the speckles as well, like. You had the two sort of moulds out of them carp. That's like the unattended, which was very boxy, thick-wristed tail, them leathery kind of ones. Like scaly two-tone, the slag, fish like that, the more scalier ones. But to me, that's iconic Elstow. November, the US Army Gore-Tex that we all wore.
Very nice.
And a slate grey. Yeah, £40 carp out of Elstow. Do you know what I mean? So,
but you don't see too many carp looking like that, mate, do you? With the different shades and the different colours on it. Could you put the other one up as well, Tobe?
Clarity of the water as well.
Look, they're quite contrasting looking fish, aren't they? Sorry, this one was called again?
Scaly two-tone.
Scaly two-tone, yeah.
I think that one's a 74 stocking. I might be proven wrong by the...
God, it looks ancient. That's a proper crusty one, that, isn't
carp.
It? Yeah.
Finney took that picture, Dave Finn.
Oh, did he?
I'll take my hat off to him. That is I was told by many probably the best photo of it ever, and the biggest ever weight. And my mate actually went. There was a fish in there called King of Elstow. I never caught that one. He said that's the king of Bedfordshire, and I said, you know what, mate, that is. Look at it.
It's an awesome carp. Yeah, great picture as well.
It's like 1 in the afternoon
Great
at the
picture.
pump.
Lovely apple slice sort of scales on it as well. Yeah.
But the other side, I ain't got it. It is actually two-tone.
Is it?
It's actually two-tone, but that's its better side. But that was a funny one. That was the last in the draw, like number 8 out the draw. And my mate Sweeney went, get in the pump. He got number 1, got in the gnarly. That was on fire, and he went, get in the pump. I went, yeah, pump. Got down there. That's Pump Bay behind me. There's a rope there, and that's all smoked up, 30-pounders. And old Rick Clements said years ago, if you see more than 12 carp in there going there, and I was counting 1, 2, over 12. I'm seeing King of Elstow. I'm seeing Baby Orange Scaly. Your usual residents in there, all your ones you want to see. And they're showing out on the Pump Bar. I thought it's game on. And the wind's coming in at me as well. I was like, this is like meant to be. I got your number 8 in the draw. But it was a nice spot because you could put your float out. And this was the boilie year, 2014. I could pump my boilies out and spray it all around the float and just put 3 coddies over it. I lost one that night. Usual hook pull. The amount of hook pulls you had on there, because they've got hard mouths, they've been well fished for.
Right.
You did get spit a bit. But those B175s seemed to work a miracle. A tiny trout hook was the hook to use.
Old-fashioned hook, that was.
Yeah, I worked for Korda. Okay.
Yep.
But they didn't rot on the bottom because they were not Teflon coated. And it seemed that small gape and a big barb worked really well. I was using we bought that camo out at the time, and that was easy to use. Nice breaking it. I think I was using the 30 pounds, so it's quite stiff and agricultural. And it just seemed to work well. And midday, I've had like a tench type bite, picked into it. What it's known for, it didn't fight that fish. It was a lot of clean liver. It never got beat up because it never pulled. And I remember it coming past, and I went, that's scaly two-tone. Net it. Like, Sweeney's got it, big old long landing handle, bent it in, and it's in there. It's like, and the hook fell out in the net.
Really?
I got photos of it out in the net. I was like,
Jeez.
well, it's meant to be. And,
wow.
Record weight for it, 43.4 or 6, 43.6, something like that. Usual banter, check your scales and all that. But the boilies were going in, and they benefited from. They piled it on. But we thought Black Cloud was going to be big that autumn. Because it had done a 44-pound capture a few years ago. Thought, crikey, if everything was up. We had fish coming like FA Cup fish, 40-odd pound, Baby Orange Scaly, 40-odd pound. These are fish were like mid-30s before, but because all the boilies were going in, they benefited from it. But it was 41, well, more than enough, 41 pound. But that was that really. And I carried it into 2015. I had a good season. I was sort of like, it's time to sort of move on a bit. Like, I thought I was going to be on Elstow forever, but I moved on to Bundes.
A lot of those gone now then, are they?
Yeah, very old fish, mate. I think only a couple are left. There's a stocking for the future, but I believe it's under threat again. It's always had landfill threats. And
so once Langard died, I mean, it was taken over by. I mean, it was in good hands.
His wife took over.
His wife took over.
Yeah. I haven't been a member for a couple of years now.
So is that any stockings or anything?
Yeah, brilliant. Pit 2's doing really well.
Yeah.
I joined Pit 2, went back, and when things are just meant to be left alone, I went and done a trip, and I sat in the headland, and I remember the headland when the mother was in there. I'd done a year on there while I was waiting for Pit 1.
Yeah, the mother was like...
off the scale, mate. One of the hardest 40s in the country to catch. I see it on the bank to stretch neck. I was like, that is mental. Nice mental carp I'd ever seen. It was like, I remember it in the margins, it's like this big, like, grey breeze block. It was like mid-40, but it was just like...
Used to sit in the papers a bit, didn't you?
King, mate.
Yeah, it was a
that
nice
destroyed many of a man. I know a famous angler went, life is too short to fish for the mother. And he's quite famous, mate, and he turned away from it. So, real enduring, like deep, steep banks, hard fishing. And I went back, and even I found it hard, all the steps and that. I was like, I'm too old for this. I'm only in my 30s. I should have gone back years ago. I was in my 20s. I was flying up these. And, I sat in that headland swim, and I thought, hey, it's not got the mother in it. Like, just leave it, mate. Leave it on the, I never caught the mother. I'm not saying I did, but when I fished it, that buzz of it, every time we sat there, 3 o'clock in the afternoon was like mother time, and you'd think, could be. And I just left it. It was gone, mate. So I moved on, mate. Just.
Well, it takes a lot of willpower to actually, to decide to do that. But
it's like going back to an old bird. It's never the same, is it?
Yeah. You're
always comparing, mate, aren't you?
Why'd you say early 30s? You're in your early 30s now. You've caught quite a few 40-pounders now, haven't you?
I have. I've had quite a few. Yeah. I don't want to blow trumpet.
Have we got the very first one up there, Tobe? Because that's a cracker, mate, isn't it? Your
very
first 40.
It's a proper one, that, mate. Bit of a forgotten gem. that is, that one. So,
was it pre Elstow, that one then?
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
What a lovely carp that is, mate. You've caught some lovely fish.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's a forgotten lake. I won't name it, and that. I got permission at the time from the guy who used to run it to use the pictures. So I will cover myself there.
Yeah.
Somebody else caught it after me. Who's publicised it, so it's been seen out there. I'm not sure what the history is now. It was a small 12-man syndicate when I got on there, proper exclusive.
You like the linears, don't you? Nice linears.
Yeah, mate, he's mega.
I don't recognise you in the picture there. What do you reckon, Toby? Looks a bit different there, doesn't he?
It's the same old Bailey to me.
Cheers, Toby.
You haven't aged today.
Oh, thanks, mate. You are a darling, aren't you? But, yeah, that's pre-selling Korda on the road, getting the whip cracked on me back, mate. So more.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I worked in the office at the time, and that was end of March. It was one of them lakes. It was real shallow, and that would warm up quick. And leading up to that, I'd caught quite a few in the March. We had till March the 31st, and it shut for close season. And that was on the last day of the season. And Spooner texted me that morning. He goes, "You're going to have that big linear this morning." Way it went. Oh my God, big linear. He talks it up, bless him. He never lets me forget that. But yeah, that was friends. I sacked it up. Friends come up and got the Nix mats under it all a bit, thinking I'm like Terry Earn style.
I don't know what it is with that. That's got a bit of a basil thing for me as well. Looking at that fish, I don't know what it is. It's sort of, maybe it's the shape of it, But I'm
not. Yeah, I'm no expert, but some people say it's a leanie. You'd have to get Mickey Gray to look over it. I'm not sure, but it's a proper.
But that one got the ball rolling anyway, mate.
Always want more.
40
Greedy's good, isn't
now,
it? We never want more.
They keep creeping up, don't they?
Yeah, well, I want to try and hit 40s by this time next year. I'm at 44 now.
God, if you had someone talking like that in the early 90s, to think that you could catch that many 40-pound carp, I mean, they're still, they're still special, aren't they? And
they are, mate.
God, blimey.
But anyone could do it, Si. Look, it sounds elitist, but the waters are out there to do it. You just got to put yourself out, and that's not been given to me on a plate. I've had to work hard at it, and I'm a weekend angler with midweek nights, holiday. Again, I'm not taking it away from lads that can do full-time or whatever. That is weekend fishing, mate. Year in, year out, full on, and sacrifice a lot of things, broken up relationships, etc., etc. All the crap that comes with it. Everyone's told all the story. Oh, yeah, I've lost houses and that over fishing, but that's true dedication, mate.
It always takes dedication.
It does.
I've got to say, I've just remembered something else, actually, from... back at the old place, you guys in the sales office, you used to have a board and you'd all tally what you have.
Yes, remember that tally board?
Yeah, the tally board.
That was epic.
And I walked in, to see Spooner someday, something to do with the credit account or whatever. I remember looking at your tallies, mate, and yours were like, dig, 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 dig. And everybody else was like, back here went, I'm no angler, but I went, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And then I went to Spooner, what are you doing?
Up your game, mate. You're meant to be the face.
That was exactly it.
That was a good year, that was, because we had that, and that was to wind up an old employee that we had. But that was a year I had, I think, 18 30s out of Elstow, and 10 were over £35. I was quite proud of that. There's some good ones thrown in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
And I got out of jail. I caught a 40 out of the manor on my winter ticket and sort of saved the day on the 40-pounders. But yeah, it was a good bit of fun, that was.
Yeah, that tally board, that was fun.
Yeah, a bit of
does that bother you now, having a tally board like that? Or it's just you're just doing it. You're going to fish a lake which is obviously holding big carp. But
without a doubt, mate. Look, I fish for myself. I'm not trying to outdo you or anyone else. I'm just trying to outdo myself. I don't get bitter and jealous. You get envious, don't you? Oh, I wish that was me. But your time's going to come. Look, be happy for everyone else. But I never, ever worry about as soon as you worry about what someone else is doing, you've had it, mate. Just concentrate on your own fishing. So
Bundy's Lake, you mentioned Bundy's as well.
Yes.
Another deep pit and adjustable zigs. So that was a different variant on the way you've been fishing previously as well.
Yeah, it's a deep pit up in Cambridge. It was dug in the 1900s for bricks. One side is sort of staggered on the shelf, where obviously they used it as paths digging into the side. And the other side, the hazel bank, was the last side to get dug, which was more flat. You had a better shelf on it. You could get 30 yards of line off your spools and be in 9 foot of water, which is long range on there for shallow ground. If you went that anywhere else, you'd be in like 40 odd foot of water. You had to get a winter ticket to get offered a ticket on the main syndicate, and Ben, who runs it, what a fantastic character lake owner he is. He actually made bundies. You know, them kind of people around you. You know, like on yours on Savay, there's surely people around that make the syndicate. Well, he made the lake. He's just an entertaining guy, so intelligent, man of culture and living and that. You know, where hadn't he been, and all these beautiful women around him. And yes, you had to get sorry, cut a long story short. You had to get a winter ticket. I got the winter ticket. Darryl had been on there the year before. I'd gone over to visit him and done the photos of the original big one for him that he caught on a zig. He went off his own back trying it and found certain depths. He gave me some information, fair play, and I picked up on it. And what he gave me, I carried on. The winter I got on, he was on there still, and he sort of went off and done his thing elsewhere. But I was mainly, again, I want a summer ticket. I really want this. I don't want to be sat here in the winter. I showed my face. I only done about 6-7 nights. And my friend Jim, who had sort of proposed me as well, helped me out, bless him. He said, Ben mentioned there's no tickets, but you might have a chance next year. I said, yeah, you know, I'll rejoin another winter. It's a long going process. You didn't get a ticket too easily, you know. And one Sunday I got a text message, you got a ticket here if you want it. My girlfriend at the time went, what, another ticket? Oh, no, you know, typical.
It's only 50 quid.
yeah, it's a cheap one, yeah. I was like, no. Yeah. So, yeah, another ticket. And I went up there and paid Ben. I done an overnighter. I thought I'd sweat a line while I'm here. And I see some fish showing. Fished out in a swim called the Double. Again, a bit shallow ground for 30 yards, sort of 18 foot. From there, shallow ground, and I had one called Blind Eye, £36. Oh, this is all right, you know, do the photo. I told my mate, I was like, mate, you never guess what? Just had a £36 the first shot. He goes, yeah, that's quality. He goes, catch that big one and go, I went, no, I want to not fish it. So I went away from that. I never went back. I was full on Elstow, mad, you know, rotor fishing, etc. I had the ticket though. That was the next stage. Always, again, thinking ahead. Always thinking ahead for your next move. Never come to an end of a lake.
Bit of loose end.
Yeah. I've got hey, lads go at me, I've got nowhere to fish. How can I have nowhere to fish? Like, have another ticket lined up. Surely, do your homework. Maybe that's just me. I'm just a bit obsessive like that. And I went back. I fished the winter. So I went back and I sort of thought, right, I'm going to do my homework through this winter period. Get to know the lake. It's quieter. And let's get on with this next spring. So I started off doing a bit around the lake. Basically, it fished really well. We had a mild winter. I'd caught a few up to Christmas. In the January, I caught the long common off the bottom out the winter swim, 42 foot of water, 41 pounder on a tutti frutti. Pop up.
Tried to
proper tutti, one that makes you cough.
Right.
Aaron spoke about these.
He did.
Tooties like that come into their own. I believe it's the temperature of the water when it drops below 12 degrees. In the scientific bait knowledge world, whatever, they come into their own, mate. And
we didn't talk about that before, actually.
Who
told you that?
I've picked it up from reading or something.
But whatever. A specific tooty flavour.
Yeah, I believe the one I use is Solar's Ester Blend 12.
Lovely.
Proper tooty.
Love that, yeah.
Smell it, makes you cough, doesn't it? And what I do is get mainline tooties, glug them up, keep doing until you sniff them, it makes you cough. Orange tooties.
Oh, you mix it with Ester Blend 12?
Yeah, I put that Ester Blend 12 on the mainline tootie. I'm sure it's the same thing, but I've always used it.
That Ester Blend 12 was a good winter flavour. Great.
If you know, you know, mate. It's the one. And I actually picked it up off another angler on Elstow. I can't take credit. He was catching well. I tried some. I dangled it in front of him. And he went, oh, you're jumping on it. And I was just catching, you know. Again, it seemed to work really well.
Are you feeding as well then?
No, just as
singles
over your bait. Yeah. And I was using those over like crumb and corn. And I caught that long common. And then that period, it went weird. Nothing happened. It was like, I'm seeing fish, but I'm not catching. They're off the bottom. The thermocline's changed. Cold water sunk to the bottom.
You've done a lot of zig fishing prior to this?
I had done on Elstow because you got the deep water. I tried it on the Fox adjustable zig floats that they do at the time. Tried all sorts, tangles, all sorts of mess. But then I fined it down, got their float, the stubbier one. This before we did zig floats. Hook length as length of from your spigot to your reel. So when it comes on the surface, you just wind it down. You know you're cocked underneath and count down. I had it all in my armour and I had the depths. Darryl told me the depths, you know. I knew 12 foot was a good starting point. So I'd seen them showing in the second point. I moved round there, got out, put them out, 12 foot down. Give it a go, you know, like, got nothing to lose, have you, Si, you know? I'm on the phone to Finney, and I look round, and my middle rod tips like that into the lake. I've got no indicators on, because that's how confident I ain't put any indicators on. No, I've caught before.
Jeez.
Picked it up, it was like a 20 or pounder. Then I had another one, a couple of 20s. Oh, yeah, this is good. But big, whacking, great big 15mm pop-ups.
See, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, everyone thinks bits of foam, size 6 hooks, 15mm pop-ups. These actually, Ali would be proud to hear I gooed them up with Supreme Pineapple.
Oh, yeah, he would be pleased.
He loved that. Because I wanted something like leaking off. Like a bit of food in the water.
Yeah, I think Ali's on a commission for goo, isn't he?
Yeah.
He does love that.
I'll get a pat on the back from him now.
Yeah.
But it works, mate. You know, I wanted a bit of smell, sweet, you know, yellow in the water. And I think, in my theory, if you hook them, get them in. And I was using 18-pound double strength, Drennan do.
Yeah.
Big agricultural stuff. I just used that, you know. That'll work for Korda. Sounds like I'm using everyone else's gear, but certain bits we don't do. I just wanted it as that. And like I say, big hooks. And something they can see. I think something they can, you know, stand out, you know. You're big, a lot of water there, isn't there?
Stand out.
So,
yeah, nice and bright and nice and smelly and, yeah.
Stand out from the crowd. But yeah, I've used it and I got a few on it. And then we done some video stuff for Korda. We brought out Zig floats. They've been sort of off the back of Jim Beardwell from Jag. He's design. He used to use like a little Drennan Pike sub float.
Clever man, isn't he?
He's a genius, isn't he? Like very engineeringly minded, etc. Stems into his fishing, does really well, doesn't he? We brought out these floats. We want to do a thing on them. Like, yeah, fine, come down. I said, I'll catch you a 40-pounder. I said it to Dovey and he laughed. He went, I'm sure you will. Like, so yeah, lo and behold, we got them out and I fished in the Pallet. There was a lot of fish there. I lost one on a floater that night. Really good floater water as well, bunnies, but that's another story, another day. I've seen some showing out towards his house. He had a little bungalow, Ben's Bunker, we called it, and he had his garden, like some buoys to stop you casting on this shallow ground. It's probably the size of this room. If you could put 3 rods over to it, you'd be fly fishing. It'd be going in your hands, mate.
Really?
It's the most shallow, predominant flat bit of area you could fish, but he didn't want leads going at his house, did he? Bless him. And I put one out towards that, 7 foot down. And what I found is you could get really quick bites. So I put the rod down, indicator on, kettle on, dit, like in instantly. Kettle's boiled. I'm in, like, threw it all down. Playing it, the beast, 42 pound, like once a season fish, if that. And I'm like, oh my days, you know, it's
there it is. We're looking at
one
it now,
carp that I thought I'd never catch out that lake, and caught it for film, you know, on these adjustable zigs. And that was 7 foot down from the surface. It seemed that sort of changeover period. This was like, remember, end of April, May. That period, sort of 7 foot, become a real good mark.
You're messing around with the depths a lot. Then how long do you? I mean, if Daryl's saying to you like 12 foot and you're catching it 12 foot, I mean, are you pretty much, you know, staying by that, or how long will you give it, and what would sort of prompt you to make some changes?
Pretty much, I messed around 10, 12, 15 foot was them marks that I'd been tipped off on. And in the end, I just stuck to 12. It just seemed to work. All 3 at 12, just leave them. Let them rot for 24 hours. But one thing I'd do is bring them up in the morning, sort of just pull them and clean them up, then bring them back down.
That was right in the thermocline on that lake. So you were right in
exactly, because there's a lake down the road. Lewis from Port from Fox, he knows. He was a member at the time. His friends, I think it's his dad or something, dive it, and they can check, can't they, divers?
Yeah.
And the thermocline was at 12 foot. Same sort of depth lake, and lo and behold, that 12 foot down seemed to work. I'm sure that's right what he said to me, if I remember right. Like, you're probably thinking I'm talking nonsense, but I'm damn sure it's at 12 foot.
If you ever go out in the water and go across a gravel bar or something, you can feel the temperature change.
Yeah, you
can't
can.
you?
Yeah, in your wages.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So that seems to work, but obviously it all changes, doesn't it? And,
yes.
7s, 5s, really good. And yeah, I caught a couple of 40s on zigs out there, but everyone laughs. Go, oh, you just fish zig rigs on there. I caught loads off the bottom.
Did you catch on long hook links as well? Did you say on there?
Hinge rigs were king on there. Don't ask me why. They've been hammered and hammered, but they just work. I think it's the presentation in the depth of water. But there was a feature on there, the Hazels Bank. So in that period, this was the year after I'd done a full season, I had quite a few. That winter, that I built up into. It was Hazel's Bank. Craig Banks, he had this forum called Carp Study, and it had all the Bundy's forum, and all the information was there. You could just look back, dates, times, what's been out. And this Hazel Bank, March, April, kept coming up all the time. I was like, I need to beat the hell out of this with a marker float and like one of those sort of grappling lead styles. So I went in there one Sunday. No one was about, hammered it, wrapped sticks, marks, foams, you name it. And I got all my marks, 7.5 wraps. And I was worked from the reeds round, 9 foot of water, super shallow ground. Where they're going to turn up, so isn't it? I was waiting for that perfect time for them to turn up. And I remember going in the pallet, and I see one go on the reeds. And then another, I was like, this is my opportunity. This was just into April. Got round there, but there's all this low lying weed. I thought it's perfect naked chod territory. Like, this is, we've got the heli saves, fish it like on the naked, sort of first bead, couple of inches up from the lead, and then 12, 14 inches, like a reverse hinge, This is going to work. And yeah, it did. Lo and behold, it worked. First trip, I had a brace of 40s, the ants, and holding the dorsal. And from there, it sort of continued, and it sort of become a tradition, like getting there for the spring and sort of do that kind of angling.
Were people normally doing that anyway, or?
It was fish. There's a couple of lads that really fished it well. Dave Muncaster, he was a bit of a pro and he caught some very good fish. When I was on there, he done well. I watched him fish, and he sort of fished the way I did, but I sort of area fished it all free. I'd put out like 3 key straight away. And I remember doing it once, throwing a catapult down and just got a bite straight away. They're straight on it, But again, you're just watching what's around you, sort of picking up on the information. But no,
I saw a really smart thing with you, actually, just changing the subject. Yeah. You were doing an interview. Was it on the match? It might have been on the Match Lake on Yateley. And you were fishing chods, and you put a little link on the end of your chods, don't you? So you've just got that little bit of extra.
The double flexi ring.
Clever that, mate.
We do them now, don't we?
Yeah, clever. That was
I picked that up off Elliot. Again, I'm not saying I invented it. When Elliot worked for us, he showed me, and great idea. It's like a Mark II chod. It's got that bit of movement and that flexibility, and I picked up off Elliot. So yeah. Did
you do the same thing with like a zig? I mean, obviously, like now we're using adjustable zigs, but I mean, before that, would you pin a little bit of putty down? Just pin a little bit of hook, the last 3 or 4 inches of hook material down, just so you've got a little bit of extra resistance on a zig rig.
No, I never looked that deep into it, Si, to be fair. I think I've learnt since then it's all about the sharpness of your hook for zig fishing. Now on Bundy's, you think you've got, say, 50 yards of line off your spools. You've got off the bottom, say, 40 foot up. There's a lot of line off, isn't it? And you've got to try and hook a carp on a running lead, haven't you, really, with no resistance. You're relying on that flow to resist. And I always just go, best hook out the packet. I couldn't sharpen them. I kept burring them over. I wish I had them Kamakuras available then. Like, in my opinion, the biggest commercially available edge in carp fishing ever. In my opinion, the sharpest hooks you could ever get. They're like needles, aren't they? It's not a plug, that's fact. Like
you say, in a scenario like that as well, where you can't rely on the lead,
just nicking them. And if I had them, mate, I dread to think. I had mornings where on me, and I go, did nothing on. If you got a couple of bleeps, that's one to pick it up. It's not a liner. And I had it, I was like, rods up in the air and all sorts, nothing on.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, got done royally. But if I could turn back, if I had them little pack of them hooks, I'd use them size 6 choddies. Game over, mate. Yeah. Really changed them. And I used them this spring, just gone on Monks again, all show no go. They're off the bottom. I used them and had a brace of 40s on them. I don't catch 40s all the time. I don't even think every time I cast out I catch them, but I'm saying it's related to that, big fish. Yeah, hooked them up, mate. I didn't get away with them. Big bites. Yeah.
Monks, you've been doing a bit of fishing on there.
Yeah, I've had a fit of it.
I like the Storm Kira story when you were showing us the storm was just coming in and you were out fishing that night, which was nuts. You had a bit of a hit that night, didn't you? Well, the rods that were in the water went, and then you couldn't recast.
I couldn't get it back out. No, it's been a really good winter on there. This winter just gone. It's probably there was that sort of Dave Smedley era on there, like in Carp Talk, that they had that winter, and it's not really fished like that ever since. It's fished well, but it's not done that. But this winter just gone how mild it was. It was ridiculous. Loads of big ones coming out.
Keep getting those fronts coming in and
really stirred them up. And I'd done well. I'd had a really good start to the year, and that's Storm Kira coming. Mate Jordan was down there. Lake was busy, flat out. I think like 8 on or something. But a couple of lads were going. Sophie was going out of her mate. So I sod it, I'll go fishing. I don't need an excuse to go. And I sat with Jordan. I was going to go Grenville. I thought I'll just go over there. It's a bit stitched up. And then one lad packed up and we see one behind him. I thought, this would do. I'll go in there. And we can have a bit of a social along the bank. Let's have a catch up. And he was catching, bless him. He was getting a few, and a few had been out opposites. I thought, well, I'm in that sort of triangle, you know. And I got them out, and this storm was coming in. So I've put my bivvy, so that's the swim, conifers either side. It's iconic for them conifers, and I've put myself like that. I just see the butts of my rods. Long 12-inch pegs. I've hammered them into the ground. Everyone will get the ump with me, but I was hammering them. I thought, right, I'm not getting it blown away. And that come in, that storm, around 10 at night. And it was blowing. And I actually went down to Jordan at one point. I went, mate, this is getting a bit hairy now.
Yes.
I might go home. And everyone's going to laugh at me. I was watching the conifers go like that. And I'm looking up and I'm Googling, do conifers snap easily in the wind? You know what I mean? I'm Googling it. I'm not, I can't sleep. The bibby's like... And he went, no, stay.
Snap easily in the wind.
Oh, don't, mate, don't. Honestly.
Do you know what, actually...
It comes with age, doesn't it, Si? You get more sensible, don't you? I'm like... Years ago, I've been like, I'll be all right. I've been over Elstow hanging on for dear life, you know, before Boxing Day in the dugout with fish on me. And I haven't packed up on that. And now I'm trying to go home, you know. It's like...
I wasn't fishing that weekend. I was doing a really geeky thing on the Sunday, actually. There was a thing on... Yes. There was this guy at Heathrow Airport, and he was filming all the planes coming into land.
Was he?
And
yeah.
I just got fascinated by it. Like, because they would be coming in. What do they do when they crabtail? When they crabtail and they're turning into the wind, aren't they, to land?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you were seeing him coming in like 45 degrees, 45 degrees. Like
quite impressive, yeah.
And then just seeing him having to go back up. So I spent the afternoon watching that.
You're edgy, aren't you,
I'm really edgy.
You are edgy.
Yeah, and I was watching that live. I loved it. But but you were out fishing. You were doing something a little bit more masculine.
I don't know what's more sad, mate. I don't know. Think fishing,
we'll let the listeners decide.
We'll wait and see what the comments say.
I should be out having fun and I'm sat in a bivvy worrying about these trees.
Or you could be watching planes.
Could be, I don't know.
But you caught some fish though, mate.
Yeah, we caught some. Yeah, it didn't go mad. That I'd caught a lot leading up, but the main thing is I got in there. I done a night fishing out 100 yards, 90 yards, staggering them out down the middle on like solid bags with maggots in. They work really well. Little yellow pop up, like sort of anchored down with a couple of fake maggots, mimic it. That's it. Basic fishing, area fishing with that, and we got through it. Sophie texted me, come home. I was like, no, I'm too tired. I haven't slept all night. And I think I got about an hour in the end. I'd zipped the door down in the end because bits of debris were coming in. It's still going, mate. It's not calmed down. I zipped up, rolled the door up, put the kettle on. Look at your phone, didn't you? Nothing from Jordan. I'll go see if he's all right in a minute. And, bib. There's a twig on me line and there's like waves coming. I'm like, that's a fish hanging on the end. That ain't bleeped all night. Wound down. I'm in. Playing it in. Up come this 40-pound common in the waves. I'll take you.
Another one, mate, like they do,
yeah. But I couldn't hold. The wind was so strong. I had to throw the rod in the reeds, and I couldn't hold the fish out. The fish was nearly coming against the board. It was quite dangerous.
Is that the worst weather you fished him?
Probably at Grenville. I've been in a lot worse
because it's more
expanse.
Imagine being on Grenville then.
I've got some videos on my phone. I think I sent you a video of me sent you a picture of me playing one.
Oh, we'll stick it up actually after this.
It was ridiculous, like hanging on for dear life again. But they got on it, and you caught typical big pit, you know. But yeah, going back to that story, I somehow managed to hold out my landing net handle and get in the bivvy. And like, Jordan, come down, I got one. You need to help me. And he was, bless him, he was holding it out. And I'm trying to sort out, like, weighing it and all that. We sorted it out. I couldn't get the rod back out. No matter, I thought, no, I'll leave it out. It's 4 rods in the winter. I've got
Sorry, how far out was it?
That one was, I'd hooked that at 100.
Oh, so it's into the teeth of a hurricane.
You could get it out. You could have tried, but I thought, no, I've got 3 rods fishing. Don't mess it up. Just chill out. You've got a good one. Then I had a 29. I had 2 rods left, and it was getting worse. I said, Jordan, we're going, mate. I'm a bailiff on there. I'll shut that bank. It was just too dangerous, debris going everywhere. I packed up with sunglasses on, because I felt frightened I was going to get something in my eye and I couldn't get home. I want to get home for roast dinner. I'm like, yeah, I'll panda. So I was packing up with my sunglasses on. And like we had to help each other. Like Jordan's Tempest exploded with a skull cap. He wrestled mine down, like throwing bits of gear. It was like abandoned ship. It's like the ship was going down. There's bits of gear everywhere. Like, get out of here. Then my mate Darren, who's the head bailiff, come over. He come to see us, had a check up, and just as we'd gone, a tree had gone down, and he had to get the farmer to help him chainsaw it up and get out. So we was up the A14. I was on the way back to Ipswich, and he
made a swift retreat there.
I did, mate. But yeah, it was good winter's fishing. That was probably the best winter I've ever had carp.
Have we got a picture of George's fish just before?
That's just Scar out of Bundy's.
Just before craziness happened, wasn't it?
Yes, just before.
You got that tape? Sorry to put you on the spot, mate. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, George's fish, mate. Yeah,
it's
lovely.
A nice
carp.
one, isn't it?
Yeah, that was with a brace of 40s. I keep saying it, so I don't want to sound blasé or anything, but yeah, that's sort of.
People are going to hate you listening to this.
Yeah, it sounds a bit big-headed, doesn't it, mate? It is what it is.
It's not, is it? You've just, you've caught a few fish.
Yeah, you've done well, mate. But yeah, that's a nice carp. That was on the zigs, that and Henry's mate. And then I was there that Sunday. All the world's in meltdown, mate. Like, it's ending, like, all this COVID stuff. It's panic. I didn't know what's going on. I'm saying to Soph, I think I've got it. No, you haven't got it. I'm thinking, you're reading all the symptoms. I've got it, and all this all of a sudden. I had that after 40 minutes of casting out. I knew where they was. I moved in behind me mate. He literally put his gear in the van, and I had that bite. 9-foot zig in 14 foot of water. I put all three at 9. I had a 20 pounder. Then I had a text off Dave for that lake that I went to. I won't name it before. Oh, your ticket's up. I thought, today is fantastic. We've had a 40. Our ticket's coming up for that lake. It couldn't get better, but yeah, the world was dooming. Tough times ahead. Didn't know what's hitting us, and yeah, I caught that. Stayed the extra night, and I was gonna just pack up and go in the morning, go to work. But they took us off the road. Damo had us off the road, so it's working from home. So I thought, right, I'll get out there, get home for 8:30 when we start, and 7 in the morning I had the other 40 on the zig. But that was on a redone. I wound them all in before first light, cleaned all the hook links up, checked the hooks if they needed redoing, fresh links, dink, 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 put them back out, 23 wraps. And again, once it was like the adjustables. If you adjusted them, you get a quick bite. It's a bit like a zig fish, I believe. If you move them, adjust them, change them, clean them up, they seem to be like fresh.
Cleaning those hook links up as well.
Freshly cocked and I've got a bite quick on that. And that was me into lockdown, mate, and away we went.
We've done quite a nice role reversal there, mate, haven't we? We've started it, working through lockdown. And,
yes.
And we've kind of...
To lockdown, yeah.
And we've gone all the way back again.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah.
And it wasn't the end of the world quite after all, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Within a month or so, the fishing world went a bit crazy again. So
it did.
What have you got coming up anyway?
We've all settled in the house now, me and Sophie. I actually had this morning off, finished off some bits in the kitchen with my dad, bless him, come around and do the tiling. I was doing a bit of painting. I think that was just saying in my former life, I seem to be really good at painting. So if you can piss, you can paint, can't you? So that's good for me. So we just finished up that. Since July, I've done like 12 nights, which is unheard of for me. So yeah, it's settled in the house, bit of family
time. You got the itch
time.
again?
Sorry?
You ready to get back out again now?
Mate, I'm always itching. There's never a moment I'm not talking about or thinking about it. Like people working the trade sometimes fall out of love with it. I can't get enough of it. I'm always on the phone with my mates. Me and Finny talk every day like old women. What are you doing? Where are you going? What lakes? You bought any new tackle?
Yeah, you could talk on the phone to him for a while.
Oh, yeah.
He'd get you wound up, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
he'd get you fishing, Tobe, as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
he needs to get me fishing as well.
Yeah, get you out, mate.
Yeah,
bring you out of retirement. But no, I'm going to fish Grenville up to Christmas as much as I can. I've got a few more trips planned. And Monks for the winter, mate.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Best of luck. You don't need it, but best of luck.
Cheers,
anyway,
mate. We always need luck, don't we?
You've rubbed the old Buddha
He's
belly
the boy,
there
mate,
as well. What can go wrong?
A few more 11-11s.
Yeah, keep giving him a little rub.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Mate, it's been great, hasn't it?
thanks for having me, mate. I feel privileged to be sat in this chair.
Finally,
having a chat with you,
it's
mate.
been good to have
Finally,
you
we've done
on,
it. Yeah.
Well, I always said I had a face for radio. Shops used to go at me, why aren't you on them DVDs? I said, I've got a face for radio. So I've sort of semi-made radio, really.
A bit of both, really.
Yeah, it's like BBC Radio 2 with you. It's very soothing, isn't it, Si?
I don't know.
Because it's you all day long. It's like being out on the road, mate.
No, you're great to listen to. Great to talk to.
Thanks for having me,
good
mate.
guy.
Thanks for
all
coming
right,
on,
thanks
mate.
very much.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers.
The Thinking Tackle Podcast.